still in this severe thunderstorm warning. And I expect that we're going to see this severe thunderstorm warning extended farther downstream. So we're going to take this to the east, where we're still finding at least pockets of moderate rotation. Medford, 825. Lamont, 846. Bremen, 907. Tonkawa, 912. Blackwell, 913. Ponca City at 936. Kay County, we're going to watch this closely. Still finding pockets of moderate rotation. Kremlin, we're about 1 mile west of town. And we're picking up on an area of moderate rotation as well. Right down Highway 64, there is a pocket as well picking up right along Route 64. So just our Highway 64 just northwest of town. So as we mentioned, this entire line, as it advances to the east, you see these quick spin-up tornadoes. They're typically not very strong, nothing more than about an EF2 tornado threat. Still, though, that's still a decent tornado, but we're not looking at violent tornadoes, EF4s or EF5s. So Hunter, 839, Lamont, 850, Tonkawa, 909, Blackwell, 915, and Marlin, 921, with that cell right there moving to the east towards Hunter, Lamont, Blackwell, Ponca City. Still seeing inflow, still finding a circulation just in between Vance Air Force Base and the Enid Woodring Airport, south and west of Fairmont, west of Garber. That's going to move to the east, so we go into Enid right about now, 824. Right now, that circulation center, though, Enid is going to be on the southwest side of town. Northern Oklahoma College at 827. Chisholm Trail Expo Center, 828. More so zooming in real tight on this. We're going to make this into eventually Billings and Garber. As we look at some high-resolution mapping right now, as you can see here, we're still over some rural land just southeast of town, but we have seen an uptick in our rotation. So here's the airport. So this is coming very close to Enid Woodring Airport. Here's the airport. Here's where the rotation couplet is going to be moderate right now. It is starting to pick up. So if you're going to be on the south side of the airport, southeast of Enid, we are watching this very closely for you once again as the storm continues to, at least this line of storm continues to depict some moderate rotation. We had a lot of this last night in Oklahoma City. So the damage that we saw when our radar pinged a rotation couplet like this, we saw quite a bit of damage to some roofs. So there you go, high resolution mapping. We're in between Vance. Here's Enid Woodring Airport. Here's going to be the fertilizer plant. So this is the best detail, the most up-to-date detail that you're going to get out of this. We are right now about 4 miles east of Vance Air Force Base and about 3 miles southwest of Enid Woodring Airport. I want to go to Mecca at the anchor desk for an update.
I want to give you this quick update. Been in touch with the folks in Elk City, Beckham County. They tell me the city had to evacuate a mobile home park. That is happening now. They are dealing with major flooding, so they wanted us to know that information. Also staying in contact with Ponca City. They are sending their spotters out right now. We obviously know they have been dealing with horrendous flooding. They do have more roadways shut down. So that's the latest that we have so far, Damon.
Okay, yeah, we're getting some good, we know that the flooding is going to be pretty substantial out across northern Oklahoma as yet another wave of rain comes in. If you're watching in Guthrie, Edmond, Oklahoma City, this line is moving up to the northeast, so it's going to be a little while before the storms move in. It's moving a little bit faster to the north, so brand new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. This does extend downstream. Still has a tornado tag and 70-mile-per-hour winds for those of us in Covington, Garber, Breckenridge, Enid, and as you go out towards eventually Perry, you're included in this warning. I know a lot of us, our phones just went off, the alerts. This is what you need to know. This storm still has a quick spin-up tornado threat. We're watching it closely. Also 70-mile-per-hour winds. Enid, the worst of the storm, and when I say the worst of the storm, that rotation couplet is going to be south and southeast of town, but coming very close to Enid Woodring Airport. It's right here, just east of Vance, southwest of Enid Woodring Airport. Latest rotation couplet, or the latest radar scan, is bringing that closer. We still see moderate rotation that is going to be making its way very close to the fertilizer plant southwest of the airport, east of Vance Air Force Base. This is what we're watching. Jonathan, you're highlighting the tracks of where we have seen this tornado, this quick spin-up tornado. What stands out to you?
Well, Damon, what I was worried about is how this is kind of intensifying, and not necessarily that it's gate to gate per se. That's one thing that I'm looking at, but what I'm worried about is that the speeds inside that are getting a little bit stronger. So we have inbound and outbound winds. This is a Doppler part of radar. And this area of winds is getting stronger. So this might be a signature that this could be an intensifying spin up. So we say QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. It's not a supercell. These are these fast spin ups. This might be getting a little bit stronger. We're gonna have to watch that. The good news, it's past south of Enid, but they'll be moving upstream towards Garber, eventually Billings, maybe Perry, Marland, then Ponca City. Ponca City got plenty of time, but it's starting to have a little more of that classic spin-up signature where the velocities are coming up. Before it was just kind of like gate to gate. Now the speeds are coming up with it. So just a little bit worried about that. And if we go, and one thing I want to point out too, nothing real impactful right now, just west of OKC. OKC, we're okay right now. That's going to change later. But if you look at these storms, Damon, how they've lined out, I actually like it when they line out. It's bad for flooding. It's actually horrible for flooding. But when they line out like that, sometimes the updrafts and the downdrafts, this goes multi-cell and they start crushing each other. So if you notice, they're all just kind of lined up. I mean, you have an updraft and an updraft and an updraft. Well, each updraft, what goes up must come down, and the forward flank where the rain is and the hail is, to kind of crush the other updraft. So instead of maybe distinct supercells on the tail end of the line, we have interlocking cells, and the longer they interlock, I think the longer the supercell, maybe stronger tornado risk will go down. That's what I'm thinking. This will morph. The southern part, south of I-40, this will morph into that classic spin-up QLCS setups.
Yeah, it will. And looking downstream, and as we look into the next couple of hours, these storms are going to move more northeast than east, which means that if you're looking at the storms, if you're in Norman, the chances of you getting storms is going to be a little bit less than, say, those of us in Edmond. Really, if you're north and west of Oklahoma City, what I expect that we're going to see happen here, the storm's going to move more up to the northeast, so it's going to move in this direction. And now we're going to still get some storms that are going to move into the metro, but we're going to get clipped by this. I really think that this zone that Jonathan has just highlighted in blue is going to be the area where we're going to see the most significant rainfall rate and the most significant rainfall. But this entire line is going to move more up to the northeast. So Guthrie, Stillwater, Perry, Ponca City, Enid, you're going to see the storms. You're going to get a lot more rain out of this. And these are communities that do not want to see any more rain. Really, it would be nice if we could just turn off the rain for about 4 weeks, all of June. And then we bring the rain back in July. We've had so much rain lately. We're now on pace of this being a record-setting year for rainfall. With this complex moving in here, we are on pace to at least tie the record for rainfall on Thursday. Now with a storm complex like this, we're gonna go past that. So we have never seen a start of a year in the first 6 months of a year as wet as this is. And so this is just leading to a big time flooding threat. Really concerned though, as we go up into northern Oklahoma, where we are getting this line of storms that's intensifying, is that we're still looking at a quick spin up tornado threat that's going to continue as we go into Ponca City, Perry, Stillwater. Ponca City, Perry, we're here for you. We're going to stay on as these storms continue to surge into town with that quick spin-up threat. Enid, now seeing that surging east of you and going into eastern Garfield County. But really, while the threat for tornadoes will be there, northern Oklahoma, we're now entering into the severe thunderstorm watch, the watch phase of this, and the tornado watch out across western Oklahoma that will be allowed to expire. That expires at about at 10 o'clock here. But I expect that most of the storms will begin to fall off the radar sometime around the midnight time frame, midnight to 1 o'clock. So they're gonna begin the weekend. We'll begin to see the weakening trend start at about 10 o'clock, and then between about 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock, that's when the storms are gonna fall off the radar pretty quickly here. But still, the risk continues. Severe thunderstorm watch for northern Oklahoma until midnight. Tornado watch in western Oklahoma until 10 o'clock. But we're still not at the stage yet where the storms are weakening. Let's zoom in the northern parts of the state. Let's go up towards around Kay County. As we go up and towards around Medford, Ponca City, Marlin, Perry, still watching for that quick tornado threat, especially out across Garfield County. As we zoom into Enid right now, Enid, I know the rain, it is heavy. That QLCS tornado threat has really surged out. Now east of Enid, down by Breckenridge, west of Fairmont. You can see where our radar is still pinging at least 2 areas of concern, one just west of Breckenridge, another that's going to be very close to the Enid Woodring Airport, west of Fairmont. Moving to the east, that will make its way to Perry, Marlin, Sooner Lake, and Ponca City. Storm track with these rotation couplets will make their way into Fairmont at 8:36, Garber 8:50, Billings 9:05, Perry Airport 9:14, Red Rock 9:24, Sumner 9:28, Marlin at 9:30. On top of that, I expect that we're going to see rainfall totals that are going to be in that 1 to 3 inch range, which, as I said before, doesn't sound like a whole lot of rain. That's a lot of rain in an area of the state where we're dealing with record levels when it comes to our rivers, record flood stages. So that's no good at all. Enid, worst of the storm, where we're looking at the rotation couplets, can be just east of you. As the radar scan goes by, we're going to find pockets of 70-mile-an-hour winds. There's one near Breckenridge, another area of circulation near Fairmont. And so even if you do not see a quick spin-up tornado that moves right overhead, you're still going to see at least winds that are going to push close to 70 miles per hour. Those are strong winds, really strong winds. So heavy rain over Enid, Vance Air Force Base, Wacomas. Leading edge is where we're looking for these quick spin-up tornadoes, QLCS tornadoes. See it right there, east of Enid. So things are, if you want to look at least an improving trend, we see that happening in Enid, but as we zoom in real tight, we're just southwest of Breckenridge. There's Breckenridge. We're north of the highway here, Highway 15, and this is where you see that rotation couplet where it's going to be Titus producing at least a quick spin-up tornado threat. I want to go back down to the southwest, watching this line of storms, this complex of storms. We no longer have tornado warnings in Oklahoma. We do in Texas, however. Let's go out to Michael Armstrong and or Michael or Chris. Let's go out to Michael first. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we're right here in Cordell, and you can see actually the town square right there. We are continuing with tornado sirens sounding here in Cordell. However, what I'm noticing is the stronger area of rotation is actually down to the south, down toward Rocky. So we're going to go drive that's coming up toward Rocky. It sounds like the sirens are just now maybe going off here in Cordell as the area of rotation is just not as strong with that storm. It's not nearly as organized. It's not zero, but it's not nearly the strength of what it was, and it does not have a tornado warning. However, this area that's down near Sentinel and Rocky looks like it could potentially be a little bit stronger, so we're going to work our way down this direction and see what we can find down here.
Okay, yeah, so it does sound like the sirens have stopped. At this current moment, we are not working any tornado warnings, at least any official tornado warnings in the state. However, we do have a big line of severe thunderstorm warnings that are still ongoing, and they all at least have the potential to produce a quick spin-up tornado. I still expect that this line is going to continue to surge to the east, northeast. Let's go to Chris Lee right now. Chris Lee, give us an update on where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, we are in the town of Cambridge. If you don't know where that is, that's okay. It's very small. It's near Sentinel, between Sentinel and Lone Wolf here in Southwest Oklahoma. We are watching just the front edge of this storm, and I won't slow down here for just a minute. You can kind of see as we pan back up to the north, that's the core and most of the storm that we've been watching all day. We just kind of popped out of the core here, but we're looking back down to our south. Appears to be kind of an area that looks like it might be rotating back down to our south towards Lone Wolf. That's kind of the area around here that we're looking at. A lot of circulation along this front edge of the storm, and we're just kind of watching this area to see if we see anything significant, and we'll report it back to you guys.
All right, Chris Lee, watching that closely. Again, Chris Lee is going to be down in southwestern Oklahoma. He is going to be just northwest of Hobart and just southwest of Sentinel. So the risk for severe weather continues. Still finding at least an area of at least some shear happening. You can see it from Sentinel, also south of Willow. Hail core over Reed Trop. What the storm was doing earlier, it was dumping some big time hail. We were looking at hail cores that were going to be up around the size of baseballs. The hail threat has come down as we begin to line the storm out, still finding at least our hail tracker, where that hail threat is going to be west of Dill City, Burns Flat, and where Chris Lee is. You can see the current motion on that, making its way up to northeast. It is at least showing signs of coming down. The hail threat's coming down. We no longer have any tornado warnings, but we still have at least potential for these quick spin-up tornadoes. On a 1 to 10 scale, I would put our tornado threat with this line pushing between about a 2 and a 4, still probably more of a 2. Now, we're still going to see a quick spin-up tornado risk. That's going to continue until the storms are long gone. But as we are now making this more into a big line of storms, and as the low-level jet begins to increase, at times you're going to see these inflow notches that are going to appear, these hook features that are going to appear. And as Jonathan has a radar in the last 3 hours, notice how we went from isolated supercells to now just filling this in. And this is where you get that flooding threat. And we're going to see a pretty big flooding threat, which is why this green polygon that we have, that is going to be a flash flood warning. And that flash flood warning is going to go well into the early morning hours of Sunday. Really concerned about this zone right here, where a 1 to 3 inches of rain could really bring in quite a bit of flooding. I know we're getting reports right now up in the Hennessy area that there's quite a bit of water flowing into the city streets coming into Hennessy as this line continues to surge up to the east. If you're watching in Oklahoma City, right now the latest motion of storms is that this is going to move more northeast. Now, we're still going to get some storms in OKC. We'll keep a close eye on it. As we go back into Garfield County, Garber, still finding some pockets of some strong winds. That's going to be about 70-mile-an-hour winds and also a quick spin-up tornado threat right over Fairmont. So Fairmont, watching this closely for you. That's going to be just south of 412, southwest of Garber, making its way up to the northeast, getting some pretty strong wind pockets here, at least a pocket of about 60-mile-an-hour winds right along 412, 65. Right on 412, and in the community of Fairmont, 63-mile-an-hour winds. That's making its way towards Garber, Covington, Callahan. You can see right here, at least a strong wind pocket and the threat of a quick spin-up tornado, but that will head towards Perry and Perry Airport at this current track. It will be headed towards Noble County and eventually in the southern parts of Kay County. So at the current storm speed, moving to the east at about 30 to 45 miles per hour. We go into Garber at 849. Billings 903, Marland at 924, Ponca City 931, Ponca City Airport and High School at 935 with these pockets of, or at least a threat of what we're looking at for a quick spin-up tornado. If we don't see a quick spin-up tornado, what you will definitely see out of this are some pretty strong winds that are going to push out close to about 70 miles per hour. So this is not your ordinary severe thunderstorm warning with this as it surges up to the northeast. On the left-hand side, our team is out from La Homa to Ringwood, Hobart, Cordell, down by Weatherford, coming into western parts of Canadian County, but northern Oklahoma, definitely seeing the storms coming in first as this continues to surge up to the northeast. So we have Nick Smith out. We have Stephen Jones out as well in this part of the state, and we are watching these storms closely for you just east of Bedford. Really going to find a pretty strong wind pocket right here south of Renfro, just east of 81. Putting a storm track to the east on this, Deer Creek 854. We go into Bremen at 9, Blackwell 909, Newkirk 927. Then we go down eventually into some communities that are going into Kansas here shortly after about 9:30 or so. This is going to blow in pretty fast. Bremen, Blackwell, we're going to get some pretty strong winds. We've got a strong pocket of winds now beginning to pick up on radar just east of Medford, just west of Blackwell. Here's going to be I-35. So if you're in Bremen, Tonkawa, Blackwell, Newkirk, Ponca City, know that about 9 to 9:30, we're going to get some really strong winds that are going to surge in here. Right now, it is 8:40, so these winds are going to be pretty intense as they surge in. We're going to have to watch this pretty closely as this complex is moving to the east. Jonathan, storms in northern Oklahoma moving to the east. This complex that you're zooming in on, moving more northeast. Still watching that severe weather threat and the flooding threat really ramping up pretty closely.
Damon, I understand. Hey, the atmosphere is set up tonight that we're going to have those brief spin-ups north of I-40 and now going south of I-40. I don't think we've had any damage from any of those, and I'm watching very closely. And folks, I'm sorry if we're jumping all around. from north to south, it's because real quick, I'm trying to check in on these spots, like areas that I think there could be a developing quick spin up. For example, this area between Fairmont and Garber, that's an area of concern that I'm watching. Again, Garber, you're in a severe thunderstorm watch, and a severe thunderstorm warning, and a flash flood warning. There's an area of shear right there. You know, you should be taking at least your severe thunderstorm action plan. That's number one, okay? So the radar is going to be moving around a lot. I'm tracking all that. Again, like there's a little eddy right here. I don't like this thing up near Deer Creek. Got to watch that, okay? That's moving towards Bremen. But here's the deal, folks. There has already been 2 inches of rain in Hennessy. Yesterday, we had very significant flash flooding in Kingfisher and Okarche. So Kingfisher up to Dover to Hennessy, please, as you're watching, I know you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, and you could have some damaging winds. I'm looking at the Oklahoma Mesonet. We haven't had any reports of damaging winds really with this part of the line. But my biggest concern is the flash flooding risk. I did a sequence of stories about that. We drove the car into the river. It took 40 seconds in that car, and that was a controlled environment. I had a scuba diver in the back, scuba divers in the water. They had air tanks in there. I was safe. But it's now at night. This area has been hammered with heavy rain this week. Even yesterday in Kingfisher, they had major flooding in Kingfisher last night. Kingfisher, I have family up there. Listen up. Please, you know this. I know you know this, but please, for the love of God, do not be driving in any water. If you see a cone in the road, or a barricade, that's because law enforcement's telling you you're not going down that road. Do not go past that barricade. Probably the scariest moment I've ever had in my life storm chasing was in Deer Creek. I was driving, it was late at night, I was really tired. I went down a street and I was going pretty quick and I drove right into flash flooding. Went back later and the road was gone on the right-hand side. Scariest night of my life, and that could have easily been me. I don't want that to be you. Do not drive into flooding at night. You might see water on the road. Oh, okay, I can kind of see the line. The road could be gone. Ka-chunk, there goes your truck in about an 8-foot ditch. Car's gone, that's how people die. I don't want any Oklahomans to suffer or become fatalities from the flash flooding risk. Again, I'm gonna really say it out loud. Flash flooding is now gonna become the most impactful thing to Oklahoma tonight because of the rain that we've had and because these storms are training. They're moving over the exact same area. It's nice to see it's kind of breaking southwest of Hollis, but these are moving at 40 miles an hour. If they maintain, coming into Hennessy, I don't know if that's going to happen, if they're going to maintain their intensity all the way, but that's, how many hours is that? 80, 120. So we're talking about 3 more hours of rain in Hennessy? I hope not. If that's the case, or like Watonga or Kingfisher, Damon, that would be absolutely horrific. I hope that's not it. I hope they weaken, but we got to kind of plan for that.
Well, right now, what these storms have done, they dropped almost 3 inches of rain in Elk City in a very short amount of time. So we know that these storms can produce a ton of rain, and they will. Let's go to Michael Armstrong right now. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
All right, Damon, we're watching the storm that's just near Rocky right now. You can see the lowered area. It's just a very broad, low base, but there are areas of rotation embedded within this still that we're going to continue to watch for these severe thunderstorms. We don't have any tornado warnings right now, but I can just tell you this is a very low hanging base. Also a report to pass along. 10 to 15 inches of running water over Highway 152 southwest of Burns Flat by 8 miles. So that is not good, Damon. It takes a foot of water. For every foot of water, it'll float 1,500 pounds. So they already have 10 to 15 inches. So any car that weighs is going to be less than a ton is going to have a serious problem on Highway 152 right now. Do not be trying to drive between Cordell and Sayre on 152. You not be able to make it, and if you try it, you could have some serious problems. You could put your life at risk.
Yeah, great advice there coming in from Michael Armstrong. Let's go back over to the radar right now because this is where Michael is still finding some pockets of strong winds from Cordell down to Rocky, down towards Granite. This is going to be where the winds are going to be the strongest right now, making their way up to the northeast. So there's still some pockets of some pretty strong winds that are occurring within this part of the state. We're bouncing back and forth. Let's go back up into northern Oklahoma if we can, because what I'm seeing on velocity right now coming out of Vance Air Force Base radar is that there are some strong winds that are going to be tied to this. If you're watching in Bremen, Blackwell, Newkirk, Ponca City, be on the lookout. If it's not a quick spin-up tornado threat, you're definitely going to get some very strong winds. These are surging fast to the east. So Deer Creek, I know the winds just went to 70 miles per hour. Those are some big-time winds, and these strong winds are going to move due east. So Newkirk, you're going to get some strong winds. Bremen, you're going to get some strong winds. Tonkawa, you're going to get some strong winds. And those winds up to 70 miles per hour will move in. Bremen at 9:01, Blackwell 9:06. You have about 20 minutes. Newkirk 9:26, Ponca City at 9:33. With these strong wind pockets, these are pretty significant. This is not just what we would say, a low wind severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be a higher end severe thunderstorm warning where these winds are pushing out close to 70 miles per hour. I want to send it over to the news desk. Mecca Rain, you have an update.
I wanted to bring you some information. Like we were saying, flooding is so dangerous. Important to know some of the areas in your towns and cities that are seeing major flooding. Just got off the phone with the fire department in Hennessy. They have 2 areas that are seeing major flooding, and I want to give those to you. This is Main Street over Highway 81, and then they said it's even worse by Cemetery Road and 51. So massive flooding there. Also, again, back in Elk City, they have localized flooding, roads closed, and they said they have several areas that are in danger. Again, one area evacuated. That's a mobile home. So again, if you don't have to be out, I hope that folks are home safe. I talked with a family earlier this week who unfortunately lost a family member to flooding. So we know how dangerous flooding can be, as Jonathan and Damon were just saying. So Damon, that's what I've got so far.
Yeah, and flooding really is a very serious situation that is unfortunately, I know a lot of us think that our cars are tanks and that you could drive through flooded roads and everything's gonna be okay. It does not take much water at all to put you in a horrible situation. So we're still watching this strong pocket of winds that is surging to the east. So if you're in Bremen, Blackwell, Kay County, you're about to see this squall line is gonna surge in. This pocket of strong winds is gonna surge in, and this is gonna, if it's not a tornado, it's still going to do damage of that of a weak tornado with this pocket of this area, this strong wind field that is warned on from the 70 miles per hour. It moves into Bremen at 9:01. It is currently almost 8:50, so about 10 minutes, goes to show you how fast it's moving. About 10 minutes, it's going to move in. Blackwell, 9:06. Kildare, 9:29. Ponca City, 9:33. All these communities that we're listing right here, there is a chance for a quick spin-up tornado, but there's also the threat for some more widespread straight-line wind damage as this continues to surge to the east. So we are watching this closely for you. We're not going anywhere in Kildare, Newkirk, Ponca City. We're here for you, watching this pocket of strong winds and also quite a bit of heavy rain. It doesn't take but about a raindrop these days to get a flash flood warning issued in this part of the state because of just how flooded it currently is. And so this is going to make a horrible situation even worse. I know what you're saying right now in Kay County. You're saying, look, just stop with the rain. I wish we could, but tonight, here we go. So Garber, right about now, it's at 8:50, watching these areas of rotation. You see these inflow notches. Billings at 9:03, Tonkawa at 9:12. We go into Marlin at 9:30, Ponca City 9:33. We go down towards eventually Cass City at 9:56. We're bouncing all over the place with these storms right now, so we're watching this closely. Area of at least a few inflow areas coming in. Enid, the worst of this is now going to be to the east of you. So while you're getting a lot of rain in Enid right now, you're going to watch out for that flooding threat. Stephen Jones coming up into Enid right now. You can see his stream in the upper left-hand side. The roads are obviously wet. Near Hobart is where we have Chris Lee and Michael Armstrong. Let's go to Chris Lee right now, down in southwestern Oklahoma, where Chris Lee is on a part of the storm that at least continues to show some pockets of rotation. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're on Highway 44. We are northwest of Hobart and south of Sentinel. Looking at a lowering on the south edge of the storm. You can see it in the lightning flashes on the 360 cam. A lot of lowerings and some some rotation that we're watching down here. We're keeping a close eye on this. Also, a lot of rain, and we've been talking about flooding. I'm hearing about flooding in the Sentinel area. I'm hearing Sentinel Fire Department talking about Highway 44 having water over it. I'm not sure how much water, whether it's closed or, but they're being concerned about it up there just ahead of us. In that very heavy rain that you're looking at ahead of us, past that lowering that you're seeing.
Yeah, we're keeping a pretty close eye on that. Right now, we do not have any tornado warnings in the state. That does not mean, however, that we will not have any more tornado warnings in the state. We still have a long ways to go. And still, with this complex moving through east-northeast, it's not going to be until midnight before pretty much all of these storms vaporize off the radar. So back over to the radar we go. Chris Lee is down by Hobart. There's Chris Lee looking at this line. This is moving more up to the northeast and at least picking up an area of a low-level lock, very close to Granite and Mangum. So still finding at least a couple pockets of rotation here. Also, up near Rocky, this entire line, this is where we have at least a little bit more of a tornado threat than up to the north, where the atmosphere is a little bit more unstable, nothing blocking any of that inflow coming in. Not a lot of hail out of this. Really, most of the hail sizes are coming down back into the coin variety. We're not looking at sporting ball variety anymore, at least not widespread like we had earlier. Earlier, we had tennis balls. Tennis ball size hail. That will put a new roof and a bunch of new windshields on many cars. That's no longer the case. Now our storm impact shows up to quarter size hail between Dill City and Sentinel. But putting a storm track on where our shear markers and where at least that area of rotation is going to be tightest. That moves with the Cloud Chief at 912, Corn 923, Colony about 930, Eakley, Hydro, and Sickles between 930 and about 940, with that moving up to the northeast. So still looking at an area where we could see some spin-up tornadoes. It's not out of the question with this moving northeast, and there's a lot of heavy rain that's tied to this as well. So Jonathan, watching these storms closely moving up to the northeast. If you're watching in Oklahoma City right now, what do you need to know? We're going to see these storms clip down, but most of this is going to stay just north and west.
Damon, I have an announcement here. So we've been talking about Kingfisher and Dover and Hennessy. 15 miles south of Hennessy on Highway 81. 81 has been closed because of flooding, okay? This is probably going to be south of Dover and south of the Canadian River. This area has been closed. Now, I don't know what part of that has been from flooding, but that's the report that we're getting again. This is going to be, again, 15 miles south of Hennessy on, I don't know why they just say north of Kingfisher, but anyways, there's road closures on Highway 81. So folks, that's already happening. If you're trying to get through this area tonight, I highly suggest, if you don't have to travel tonight, do not. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be driving down the road, you're going to run into flooding, and then you're going to turn around and try to go the other way, and there could be your paths to try to get out of that. It's going to be hard to navigate again. So already getting reports, and this is because last night we just saw so much rain in that area. The soil is 100% saturated. I think we would have had flooding with a ½ inch of rain, and now we're going to get rainfall rates. You know, we're going to get 2, 3. Could we see 4 inches of rain? I think that would be worst case scenario. Just, it all depends on how long these storms come in from the southwest. But again, you know, from Hennessy, Kingfisher, I mean, these storms go back 130 miles. Let's assume they maintain at least their intensity, and they're going to kind of go from heavy, moderate. I mean, we're looking at maybe 2 or 3 more hours of rain. Best case scenario, this all collapses and dies, but I don't think that's going to happen. It may be a slow weakening, but I prepare for at least an hour or 2 more of rain. At least Kingfisher County, Blaine County, Washita County. This is really going to be the danger zone right here. This is going to be the worst flooding for tonight, Damon.
Yeah, it really will. So we're going to, as you mentioned, it just tweeted out, Jonathan, yes, do not cross into any flooded roads. Let's go into Kingfisher. Lots of heavy rain still continuing to fall. And we're going to pick up a ton of rain from Hennessy, Dover, Kingfisher. We've had rain rates over the last couple of days that have just been more tropical-like, and you can feel the humidity. You can just feel how wet the atmosphere is and how much moisture it's capable of holding. You step outside today, and it feels like we're at the beach. We're not even close to any oceans here. Well, with all the rain we've had lately, we might as well. But you know what I'm talking about here. We've had so much rain. Kingfisher, the rain, it is just coming down. Let's go up into northern Oklahoma, up into Kay County, because it appears that we're at least getting some outflow that's surging out ahead of this line of storms, which is still going to bring in some strong winds. Look at these winds that we're seeing here. That's not good.
Because look at the wind speeds, these velocities, they're so strong. I haven't seen that strong a velocity. Not the couplet, but the speeds with the couplet. That right there southeast of Garber, that could be a QLCS tornado.
Yeah, and for everyone that's asking, what in the world does QLCS tornado mean? Because I know we've been saying it for the last 4 weeks, it feels like. An easy example, it's a quick spin-up tornado. That's what we mean when we say QLCS. I see all your tweets coming in, people saying, what's a QLCS? What's a QLCS? Easy term. It's a quick spin-up tornado. That's what we mean by that. So that right there, moving up to northeast, pretty significant, goes into Red Rock at 925, Marlin 931, Ponca City 945, and then we start going into Osage County into Kansas after 950. But there will be some strong winds, well-defined inflow notch coming in with this, and we see that extending up to the north. Let's go up into northern Oklahoma, up into K County, because I know in Blackwell, storms are about to move in very fast. We're going to have some strong winds attached to these as well. We're going to push winds out about 70 miles per hour, and they're blowing in right now. Now coming into Bremen, right now just knocking on I-35, and it's not going to be long before they come in to Newkirk and Ponca City. So northern Oklahoma, right now it's 8:57. Storms come into Bremen at 9:01, Tonkawa 9:18, Newkirk 9:27, Kildare 9:35, Marlin 9:36, Ponca City 9:39, and we go down towards McCord at 9:45. What do you need to know? While we do not have a severe thunderstorm warning for Ponca City, Newkirk, these storms are definitely pushing out some very strong winds with them, and we're going to get even more heavy rain. And the pictures that we have seen out across K County have just been absolutely horrible. Let's go out to Chris Lee. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing from the ground.
Yeah, Damon, we are just south of Sentinel, and we are watching a lowered area along the gust front here, not seeing anything, any kind of rotation, and it doesn't seem to be as pronounced as it was, and we're starting to get a little bit of precip here. I can tell you the issue right now in this area is rain. We've been driving back and forth on some of the roads, and Dylan Richards has been driving for me, has been having trouble sometimes seeing the roads because it's been raining so hard. And the rain has, we keep thinking each time we go by, there are a couple of roads have gone over a couple of times. Highway 44, I thought, the water is just about over the road. We're now hearing firefighters out of Sentinel checking out the road. They're saying there's places where they can't get through, and they're going around the county and having trouble just getting around. So the flooding is already happening. It's ongoing down here in Washington and Cuyahoga counties.
All right, yeah, so as it gets dark, obviously the visuals are a little different, but when you can't see the road, it's a bad situation to be in. Quite the thunderstorm currently that Chris Lee is on near Sentinel, moving up to the northeast. Still seeing some strong winds attached to this. We're going to see these inflow notches continue, and so the tornado risk will continue as this complex moves up to the northeast. Storm command near Rocky, Chris Lee, north of Cambridge, south of Sentinel. All this continues to surge up to northeast, still looking at a lot of rain from Mangum, Granite, Sentinel, up to Corn, and we're going to be dealing with quite a bit of a heavy rain threat as well. I mean, when you see all this, last couple of radar scans, look like this is beginning to surge more to the east. At that current track, if it keeps going to the east, it will target Oklahoma City, Moore, Norman, Slaughterville. There has been some data that would suggest that at some point we would see this move more to the east. So with this severe thunderstorm warning, not much of a hail threat, but it is pushing out some strong winds around 70 miles per hour. So we've been having to analyze every single radar scan to get a good understanding as to at what point will these storms stop going northeast and start going more east. If it continues to move more to the east, then Oklahoma City, we're looking at 2 inches of rain tonight. Tuttle, you're looking at 2 inches of rain tonight. Blanchard, Newcastle, Anadarko, Chickasha, you're looking at 2 inches of rain tonight, and this right here could be our 2-inch rainmaker on top of the rain that we saw last night. So current track with this complex of storms moving to the east at moving to the east with 70-mile-an-hour winds, comes into Minco at 10:25. We get it into the metro right about 10:20 to 10:45. I know it's Saturday night. A lot of us are going out. More, you had your high school graduations today. A lot of us are celebrating. What you need to know is that these storms are going to be coming into the metro between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. So if you're planning on leaving by then, or if you know anyone that's out, say at the movies, out at a restaurant, just say, hey, look, if you're leaving at 10:30, hang tight where you are. Wait until these storms blow through here. So that's the latest track with that. Moving to the east. Let's work our way back up. Let's just make our way up to the north, and we'll take our way through Weatherford, and then Watonga, and then Kingfisher, and then Enid, and then Perry, and up to Ponca City, because what we are seeing out of this as it moves to the east, that there's still a lot of heavy rain that's going to be tied to this. So as we go from Calumet up to Kingfisher, even a couple cells now beginning to go up down by Mustang and Tuttle. There you go. So storms now popping up to southwest of the metro. These aren't severe. Flash flood warning remains in effect for Canadian County, and I expect that we're probably going to see this flood warning come into the metro as well. But from the metro, Guthrie up to Perry, see these storms are beginning to surge in here, and that goes all the way up to the north. But from Watonga to Kingfisher, heavy rain. It's raining pretty hard in Watonga. Heavy rain now spreading into Kingfisher up to the northeast, and we see a few cells now popping up right across the metro here. These are not severe, but they will produce at least some very heavy rain coming in right now from Quail Spring up to Edmond, up to Deer Creek High Schools. Pull on out. Let's go on up into Kay County, where that line of storms is now surging in, and the rain is now falling in Kildare, Newkirk. Some rain, some very strong winds coming in from Blackwell down to Garber. We still have that pocket of some very strong winds, and that very well could be at least a quick spin-up tornado just west of the Perry Airport, just west of I-35. When you see that tight of a gradient, that pink and that green, that's a tight rain gradient and a tight wind gradient. And it's moving pretty quickly to the east, about 40 miles per hour. So Red Rock, 924. Marlin at 9:30. If it's not the tornado, you're definitely going to get some strong winds. They're going to surge into Lucien, Perry, up to the Perry Airport, up to Billings. This is going to ping at least winds of 60, pushing close to 70 miles per hour. So that's what's headed your way. And Perry, Sumner, Perry Airport, Red Rock, up to Marlin, White Eagle, McCord, Ponca City Airport, and Tonkawa. Right now, if there's any tornado on this, it's spinning out just west and northwest of Perry, east of Garber, and that's moving pretty fast to the east. We're here to give you as much advance warning as we possibly can with these, but this is definitely going to be a pretty strong wind threat that's surging to the east here. Tonkawa, Alcorn, Ponca City Airport, up to Kildare, watching this closest. Pan up to the north, get a check on what these winds are doing as we go up towards Tonkawa and just west of Ponca City, because I know up in the Newkirk area, we're watching these storms closely for you as well. Still finding at least a strong pocket of winds attached to this. Could we get a quick spin-up tornado out of this? Absolutely. Right now, though, this is mainly going to have some pretty strong straight-line winds, but this is surging pretty fast to the east. So right now, this is going to make its way into Blackwell at 9:05, Tonkawa 9:08, Ponca City Airport 9:24, Newkirk at 9:26, and then we go to Ponca City High School at 9:27, and we go down to Caw City at 9:49. All of the communities that are listed right here, what do you need to be preparing for? Winds up to 70 miles per hour. Not a big hail threat out of this. You will get quite a bit of heavy rain, and if you haven't seen the pictures just quite yet, go on Twitter, go on Facebook, head on over to the KOCO5 mobile app, and just look at what's been happening in Kay County over the last couple of days. This has really been just a horrible situation, and this is not what they need to see either. With as soft as the ground is currently, if you have a lot of large trees nearby, there's a possibility that those strong winds that are coming in, 60 and 70 miles per hour, could easily push those down, given just how soft the ground is. I mean, these trees can quickly blow over. So stay away from windows if you're going to be in Ponca City, Newkirk, up to Blackwell, as this heavy rain just continues to surge in, and so will the strong winds. Severe thunderstorm warning. This warning that we have down to the southwest has been warned on for 70-mile-per-hour winds. Starting to get a good surge to the east now. Let's go out to field meteorologist Michael Armstrong in Storm Command. Michael, this new warning now headed to the east, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Give us an update with what you're seeing.
Right, Damon. Yeah, we're watching this line of storms now. It has definitely lined out. I think what we're seeing now is really the tornado threat, and we may see a quick spin-up tornado here or there, but honestly, what we're really seeing now is this threat of just tremendous flash flooding. There are reports that every street now is flooded and burns flat, and that they're very concerned that there may be starting to be some homes threatened. Now, when you got that situation, you can't evacuate, you can't get out, because if you get out and drive on the roads, then it's even worse. So a potentially very dangerous situation developing in Burns Flat. And one of the reasons why, Damon, is if you remember how fast these storms came in, well, now it seems like they have slowed down a lot, and they just keep dumping heavy rain over the same areas here across Ouachita County, down towards Sentinel and Rocky. These areas are just going to get absolutely inundated with rain, and same thing with Cordell. So super dangerous situation right now south of I-40 along Highway 152, and that could be the case down into southwestern Oklahoma as well. We just don't need any more rain, but unfortunately we're going to get it.
We are going to get it, and we used to have this phrase that, you know, rain was always a good thing out here in Oklahoma and take it whenever we can get it. No more. I mean, we got to cut it off. We have to cut off the rain. We've had so much rain lately. In the last 3 hours, 5 inches of rain southwest of Burns Flat. Burns Flat, you've had close to 5 inches of rain, 4.5 inches of rain between Carter and Retrop. These rain rates are just unbelievable, unbelievable rain rates. I mean, that would bring in a flooding threat even if we were, you know, dealing with, a lack of rainfall. We have not had a lack of rainfall. Another 4 to 5 inches of rain coming in tonight. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible with these rain totals that we have had. And this is going to continue to move up to the northeast. We're now going into life-threatening flooding situations that are going to be happening as we watch this complex move up to Clinton, Kingfisher, back along the Cimarron River. Life-threatening situation. That neighborhood in Cimarron City just to the west of Cimarron City, another house was lost today. So these rivers are just, they're pretty much, we now have new rivers that are forming. The rivers are getting wider. The banks are pretty much getting eaten away as we continue to just deal with these incredible rain rates. The Cimarron River, we lost about 50 feet or 50 feet of land. The river expanded by almost 50 feet back in 2015 because of record rainfall, and now it's expanding once again. So the rivers are getting bigger. And so if you live anywhere near a river, the waters are going to be incredibly high, and we're going into this life-threatening flooding situation, which is quite scary. Here we are now. We haven't even hit the wettest month of the entire year. So these rain rates, flash flood warning goes until 9:45. That's going to be extended, I know. That expires pretty soon, but they're going to extend that flash flood warning because of these just incredible rain rates that are coming in. So let's go back up to the north, look at the latest in northern Oklahoma with this threat for a quick QLCS spin-up tornado from Ponca City to Bremen. The line of storms is now marching east of I-35. Some strong winds are now blowing through Blackwell, Billings, still finding at least a couple inflow notches coming into this. It's not that great of a tornado threat, but we do see at least a core, a pocket that's going to be in between Perry Airport, west of Red Rock. That's at that current track. It heads towards Marlin, moving up to the northeast. So some strong winds moving up to the northeast. Severe thunderstorm warning continues. And so putting a track to the east with this couplet, where we had the most likely chance of seeing at least a quick spin-up tornado. Red Rock 925, Marlin 930, Sooner Lake 936. When we get towards McFadden Cove, that's going to be east of Ponca City at 951. Then we start going into Osage County here about 10 o'clock. So the farther north you are, the faster the winds are going to be, and the sooner the storms are moving in. So Tonkawa moving in now, Billings moving in now, Ponca City coming in, Bremen, Newkirk coming in as well right now. But if you're looking for a tornado threat out of this line of storms that's moving to the east, that is where it's going to be located, just northwest of Perry Airport. I know, Mecca, I know you've been receiving some pictures that have been coming in. And give us an update at the news desk.
Yeah, let's take a look at this picture here. And, you know, Damon and Jonathan are preaching, please don't go into floodwaters. Don't go into that water. And this is why you can see this road broken up here, almost washed away. You never know what's underneath it. Obviously, as you're driving, you can't see. So Oklahoma Highway Patrol sharing this picture with us. This is just about 4 miles east of Highway 81 in Kingfisher. I also want to say I have been in touch with the folks in Newkirk and Blackwell. They're just preparing for the storms. No road closures as we know of right now. They've obviously, both of those communities have been dealing with flooding, no rescues. So again, they're just bracing for the storms and the strong winds, Damon.
Yeah, absolutely. So brand new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued, and this is going to still be for those of us in Garfield, Grant, Kay, Noble, and Payne County until 10 o'clock. If your phone just went off, this is what you need to know. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. And so at least with our area of circulation that we see right here, just southwest of Mulhall, comes in at 912, OSU 942, Bill's Corner, east of Perry. There's an on cue there, 951. That's what we have listed as Bill's Corner. A lot of people say, where's Bill's Corner? Where's Bill's Corner? It's going to be, and we've been saying it a lot, I feel like, for the last month, but pretty much it's where that on cue is, there at the corner east of Perry, and then goes into Glencoe at 958. This new severe thunderstorm warning that we have now in effect for Kay County and Noble County, this is still for 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it goes until 10 o'clock. So if your phone just went off, which if you're in Ponca City, yeah, your phone did just go off. Newkirk, your phone just went off. This is for 70-mile-an-hour winds and a quick spin-up tornado threat. Now, if there's anywhere within this line where we're seeing that tornado potential, is we west of Perry Airport, right here, northeast of Covington. That's moving to the east. So that goes in the Perry Airport at 917, Red Rock 926, Sooner Lake 937, Pawnee at 957. That's where you're looking for that quick spin-up tornado threat, right there, just west of Perry Airport, surging to the east. Ponca City, I know the winds are very light outside. You're saying, well, it's so calm outside. It's not going to be that way in about 10 minutes or so. Give it about 10 minutes, Ponca City, those winds are going to pick up. In about a minute, winds are going to pick up from Perry Airport towards Marlin. This line right here is bowing out. You see that backwards looking C right there? That's a bowing out segment. When you see that happening, there's going to be some strong winds that are going to rush in right behind it. So definitely a 70-mile-an-hour wind threat. That could do some damage. This part of the state where the ground, the soil is so soft right now, it's not going to take much for us to see some of these trees get pulled down. And we're talking about healthy trees. I've seen 35 and 40-year-old trees that have toppled over recently because of just how soft the ground is. So that clay soil that we have here, which is like, it's bulletproof and it feels like nothing can break it. You pick up some record rainfall, that can really soften it. And so that's going to be an issue that we're dealing with, not just for tonight, but really for a couple weeks now, until whenever the rain stops. Right now, it's not stopping. So Perry Airport, finding a pocket of very strong winds just southwest of Perry. 70-mile-an-hour winds there. Let's go up to the north, Billings, up to Tonkawa and Ponca City as we go up towards Kildare, because we're finding a pocket of strong winds surging in as well from Bremen to Blackwell, Tonkawa. This moving to the east. It's going to blow in pretty fast. This line is moving pretty fast at about 40 miles per hour. So Ponca City Airport at 927 is currently 914. Newkirk, 929. Kildare, 930. Ponca City, 930. Ponca City, about 15 minutes before this line with 70-mile-an-hour winds is going to move in. Marlin at 931. We go to White Eagle at 937. Caw City, 953. And then we go into Osage County after about 945. So we look at our winds, and we can see right now that the winds are quite light, very light, almost calm in Ponca City, Kildare, and Newkirk. It's not going to stay that way for long. We're about to see this complex just blow right on through, and the winds are going to be incredibly strong. So want to make sure that everyone in Kay County and in Noble County is aware of what's coming in your direction. We're here for you. We're watching this closely. Right now, though, still finding our rotation tracker, still picking up on some moderate rotation out just east of I-35, north of the Perry Airport. This will be headed towards Red Rock, Marlin, White Eagle, headed towards Sooner Lake, with this severe thunderstorm warning that's making its way to the east here. So definitely very strong complex of storms. This is a higher end severe thunderstorm warning where we're going at about 70-mile-an-hour winds. Not a whole lot of hail out of this. I don't expect that we're going to see really anything larger than quarters. So we're going to keep it fairly small on the hail size, but not small on the wind side. 70-mile-an-hour winds, that will definitely do quite a bit of damage as this line continues to surge to the east. So winds are light for Marlin. Winds are light at Sooner Lake. I know it's Memorial Day weekend. If you know anyone that's out on the lake, say, look, you got to get off the lake. You got to do it fast. you got to do it real fast with this moving to the east, because this is really going to bring in quite a bit of heavy rain. So as we go down to the south, we have Nick Smith currently in Yukon. Storms are now popping up from Edmond to Mustang. Quick pockets of heavy rain is not going to last long. Now the rain's going to come in. With this new warning that's surging more to the east, what I expect we're going to see coming in here is about another 1 to 2 inches of rain from El Reno down to Blanchard, Chickasha, Newcastle, and as we go into Oklahoma City. Let's go out to Chris Lee right now. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, we are about 4 miles west of Hobart on Highway 9. We are just getting the very front edge of the core. I can tell you 30, 40 mile an hour winds blowing out of the storm from here. You can see the rain blowing from the left to right across the road in front of us, and visibility is really pretty poor, kind of slowing us down. This area just now starting to get the rain, but the area to our north has gotten an awful lot of rain. Still hearing a lot of reports up there of water over the roads in places. But David, this is what we're looking at down here: torrential rain and some very strong winds along the front edge of the gust front.
Okay, look at that rain coming down, and there's a lot of strong winds coming across as well. Chris Lee, down in the Hobart area, I mean, that right there, if you're headed out and you happen to encounter these storms, this is what you're driving in tonight. This is what you're going to be driving in. This is why we say, look, stay put, stay where you are. You don't want to be out on the road when this stuff is happening. Let's go over to Mecca real quick for an update at the news desk.
You'll see us here.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Damon, we want to go ahead and take a look at this picture. If we can pull this picture up, this is, I believe, in Burns Flat. You can see, you can't even see the roadway there. That's how much flooding they're getting. I think you can see the mailbox there behind that vehicle. This picture was sent in to us by a viewer through ULocal. This is the perfect time to remind you to go ahead and download the KOCO mobile app. Please utilize ULocal. You all help us tell the weather story of the day, what you're dealing with, what you're seeing. We also want to get you some information on some road closures. Police in Mangum telling us that US 283 and South Highway 34 junction closed right now. They tell us water is all over the roadway. And again, this is mainly what we've been talking about tonight, that flooding, so dangerous. Quick reminder, turn around, don't drown. Damon, we'll go ahead and we'll send it back over to you. That's what we have so far as road closures. We're working to get some more.
Yeah, and when it comes to this flooding situation that we have here, this is unique, and it's rare that we see this, but the National Weather Service will send out flood warnings attached to these rivers as they continue to come up. They usually always have an expiration time because we have river gauges all over the place, so we can monitor the river levels. The flood warning that we have on the Cimarron River right now that just went out says until further notice, because we have absolutely no idea when these rivers are going to stop flooding, because the rain just keeps coming in. So when you start seeing flood warnings that come out that do not have an expiration time attached to them, it just says, look, we're going to keep this flood warning going until it goes down. That goes to show you that the likelihood is that the flooding is going to end anytime soon is pretty much next to nothing. So as we continue to see this heavy rain that spreads in from Mangum to Granite up to Corn, heavy rain spreading up to the north, Calumet, Watonga, Kingfisher, it's a lot of heavy rain. I expect that the severe thunderstorm warnings that we're going to see issued this evening, if you're in Canadian County, down towards eventually Gracemont, Albert, Grady, McLean, Cleveland County, Pottawatomie County, they're going to be mainly for some winds. I don't expect there to be a big hail threat. And I do see that the tornado threat is coming down by quite a bit, but it's Saturday night. Usually during the week, a lot of us are already home for the evening. You have school, you have work the next day. But it's Saturday night. People stay out way later, 2 o'clock, sometimes later, but you're going to have a lot of road closures. And the problem is that the flooding is so widespread that we have here that while local police are going to do their best to get barricades up as fast as possible, they're not going to be able to get to all of them as fast as we would like. And so there's a likelihood that you could be encountering flooded roads, washed out roads before they're able to put up a barricade, which is why we really hit the message as hard as we can and emphasize that this is just not your ordinary flooding night. This is higher end. This is life-threatening flooding that we're dealing with right now, as yet another 4 to 5 inches of rain is now falling. we've already had that estimated from Bessie to Corn down the Sentinel, and we're just seeing this training effect. And so the Canadian River is going to get incredibly high. The Oklahoma River, the north branch of the Canadian River, is going to get incredibly high. The Cimarron River, it's already high. Northern Oklahoma, the water's already high as well, and the rivers that we have up there. So as we zoom in here into Weatherford, Corn, finding pockets of very heavy rain that is surging up to the northeast. And we're going to see all of this continue to make its way from Weatherford to Bridgeport, Geary, Greenfield. This is pretty heavy rain that's moving in. You're not driving the speed limit. If you're out on the highways this evening, you're on I-40. If it's 70, you're doing about 35, if even that, with this moving to the east. So we still continue to watch the heavy rain spreading into the east, northeast here. Let's go back up to the north. Let's go up into Kay County, Noble County, check in on the storms that are surging into Newkirk, Blackwell, Ponca City. We know that the rain's about to pick up. Same thing out towards Perry Airport, Sooner Lake. If you know anyone on the lake, tell them just, look, you gotta get off the lake here. If there's any type of threat for a quick spin-up tornado, it's moving through Perry Airport, northern parts of Noble County. We had it right here. It's where you see these inflow notches. So watch as it surges to the east. It's starting to bow out. So more of, if anything else now, we're looking at some strong winds, 70-mile-an-hour winds. That's what you're getting in Ponca City. That's about to come in about a minute from now. Ponca City, I know the winds are calm. The winds are going to pick up very fast. So let's put a storm track to the east, and this is moving pretty quickly to the east. Here goes in the Red Rock at 9:25. Right now it's 9:22. Ponca City comes in at 9:28, 6 minutes from now. We go in the Ponca City High School, 9:29. White Eagle, 9:34. Sooner Lake, 9:36. And they start going into Pawnee and Osage County at about 9:30. So not much of a tornado threat for Kildare, Newkirk, Blackwell, Tonkawa. What you are looking at, though, will be some strong straight line winds that are about 70 miles per hour. Big time wind threat with this line. And given the flooding situation that we have here, Jonathan, we've been looking at the pictures lately. I mean, we don't even want to see another drop of rain up here. Instead, we're about to pick up a ton of rain in northern Oklahoma.
Damon, it's all about orientation of the line, okay? So imagine storm movement. The cells are kind of moving to the east. That's how we're warning them. But you have to look at the movement of the line. How is the line moving? You can clearly see as I animate the radar, and I'll give you a 2-hour time lapse here. Watch what happens. The warning to the east, but the line is moving to the northeast. So we have to find the pockets where we have that training effect. Now, I thought Enid was going to have a lot worse flooding. Stephen Jones just went through Enid. He didn't have a lot of flooding. He's going to run into a lot more flooding near Hennessy. This area is kind of the danger zone. You know, what will Ponca City have? I'm not exactly sure. They had too much rain last night, major flooding. We saw that with Buck King. Would a half-inch cause the same thing that happened last night? It's very possible. Okay, I want you to plan for kind of the worst. We'll hope for the best, plan for the worst. You're not having that hardcore training effect into Ponca. It's kind of moving more to the east. So I'm not on a scale 1 to 5 for Ponca. You know, I'm not a 1 and not a 5. I'm kind of the middle. What I am really worried about is down here, Weatherford. You're kind of on the nose of the storms. It's just starting to downpour there. Goes back towards Sentinel, Cordell. We've had major flooding, Burns Flat, over near Carter. I would be really worried about the Weatherford area. That is the next area to see real significant flooding. Okay, so Weatherford, we're looking out for you. Now, Stephen Jones just went through Enid. Stephen, you're in Hennessy. What are the roads looking like there?
Hey, we are just coming into Hennessy right now, and everything is just so saturated. I mean, the ditch lines along Highway 81 are completely full, and they're overspilling onto Highway 81. And I've been looking at Google and all the flooding reports coming in. Here in Hennessy, there's been numerous flooding reports, and as we're coming into downtown right here, there is a lot of ponding on the roadway. There's a lot of running water on the roadway. Back to you.
Hey, Stephen, I have a question for you. I just want to interact here with you a little bit. Stephen, you're going to be driving into an area that has seen significantly more rainfall than you've seen to your north. Highway 81 is supposed to be closed.
Hey, guys, we just took 80, 60-mile-an-hour wind.
Okay, so that's Chris Lee. So we'll get back to Stephen Jones. You hear that, Damon? Chris Lee just took I think, a huge gust down in southwestern Oklahoma near Hobart. Let's go to Chris Lee. Go.
Yeah, we're sitting at the intersection at 183 and Highway 9, and we're getting 60-mile-an-hour winds for the last 30 seconds or so. Just incredible winds. We stopped at the intersection, and a little bit of small hail, or maybe it was gravel picked up small debris, but very, very heavy, strong winds. Still very strong winds.
Yeah, Chris, we see your stream there coming in. I mean, that it very well could have been gravel that was picked up and moving to the east there because, yeah, look at that. I mean, if you're out driving in western Oklahoma, southwestern Oklahoma, this is what we say. Look, you don't want to go out in this. I mean, no one ever wants to drive in this, but that right there is what is moving in. And so this is not good at all. And so, Chris, yeah, we heard him say, whoa, those are pretty strong winds. And not a whole lot of hail out of this. Definitely they're probably picking up some gravel in this as well. That wind just keeps going. Chris, how long has that wind been going now? I feel like it's never ending for you right now.
David, it's picking up again. It's starting to maybe die back a little bit. And now I'd say we're still sustained around 60 miles an hour. Winds coming from behind. We're pointing to the east. The winds are coming from directly behind us. But we've stopped here. I don't really want to drive in this, but very, very strong winds right now. As strong as we've seen all day. I thought maybe we had some circulation, but all of this has been straight line winds right here.
Yeah, we definitely see that there again coming in from Chris Lee down by Hobart. Some very strong winds, and we still have just enough shear in the atmosphere right now to where we still have to be very mindful of these quick spin-up tornado threats that are coming in, not only across southwestern Oklahoma, but also as we go into northern Oklahoma. So that is just coming in. That's exactly where Chris Lee down by the Hobart area. Let's pull on out. Look at the bigger picture right now that we have ongoing as we go up into northern Oklahoma. OKC, these storms will move in. What's going to happen, though, is as they move into Oklahoma City, they're going to weaken more than likely with some of the newer data coming in. And we're still going to get some storms in here, but somewhere around the metro to Chandler to Shawnee is where these storms are going to vaporize this evening. So it's going to happen, but it's going to take a while. There's Stephen Jones and Hennessy right now where they've just been seeing quite a bit of heavy rain. I mean, it's just raining and raining and raining and raining. Let's go to Stephen right now. Stephen, what's the situation like right now in Hennessy?
Hey, Damon, we're here in Hennessy just on Oklahoma Street, and we're looking at there is a lot of low-lying areas here on the roads. They are just completely full of water, probably about 1.5 feet deep. And as you can see, this truck right here just kind of resting in the water. And it doesn't look like that this truck was affected by the flooding, but small cars, small sedans would really be flooded out by this if they went through it. So we're sitting here just making sure nobody comes through this water because this is really dangerous right here. And this water is actually moving pretty fast. And this is all over the Hennessy area, including Highway 81. We spoke to some emergency crews that Highway 81 was closed to the north, and there was Highway 81 close to the south of Hennessy as well. Back to you.
I definitely believe that there from Stephen Jones with the amount of water that is coming in. Let's go back over to the radar right now because it just continues to rain and rain and rain across Hennessy. Let's go up in the Newkirk, Ponca. Okay, we'll go down here down to the south. No, you're good. You're good. Storm Command. Watching this new severe thunderstorm warning for Weatherford up to Bridgeport, Geary. We're still watching closely for these quick spin-up tornadoes that we have ongoing, given that the amount of low-level shear is still strong enough for that to happen. Let's go up into northern Oklahoma, because I know up in towards K County, Ponca City, Newkirk, this line is now beginning to spread in. And so as the storms hit Newkirk, Ponca City, down to Marlin and Red Rock, we got to watch close. We got some strong winds are coming in. If there's any tornado threat, it's very close to Red Rock right now. That's going to be north of Perry. See where we've highlighted. See our rotation tracker still pinging. It won't be long before this is going to be east of you. And here's the thing. If you're watching in Ponca City or Newkirk or Perry, the tornado threat is going to be on the leading edge of the storms. Once it starts raining, and once it's been raining for about a minute or two, your tornado threat is pretty much coming down pretty quickly. So if there's any tornado, it usually comes right when the heavy rain hits. About a minute or two later, it's gone. So if it's still raining in Ponca City and Tonkawa, you're saying, where's the tornado threat? Know that it's well east of you and you're okay. So storm track with at least this line right here, and we do see some pockets of rotation. Not so much in Newkirk. It picks up in Ponca City. It's very weak, but the strongest couplet is going to be at Marlin at 9:31, Bill's Corner at 9:34, Sooner Lake at 9:36. Then we go in the Osage and in Pawnee County here. But there's still at least the potential for this to produce a quick spin-up tornado as it continues to surge to the east. So we're about to now see the tornado threat moving east of you. Ponca City, it's already happening. Newkirk, the tornado risk is already east of you. If there's any tornado threat in K County, it's in far northeastern and eastern K County. If there's any tornado threat in Noble County, it's going to be in far eastern Noble County. And we see it now making its way east of Perry. So Perry, tornado threat, it's over for you. Red Rock, we're still watching it closely for Red Rock. It's right overhead as this line continues to surge to the east. But now we're getting into a lot of heavy rain on the left-hand side of your television screen. We have Stephen Jones and Hennessy. Roads have lots of water coming in. Chris Lee is still in Hobart. I feel like he's pretty much stuck in this heavy wind, the strong winds. I have not seen those winds settle down at all in the last couple of minutes. Let's go back out there, Chris Lee. Chris Lee, these winds, they appear never ending. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, we're just getting an incredible amount of wind, heavy rain, and starting to get a little bit of hail now. Not seeing it because of all the rain, but I'm hearing it hitting the car. It sounds like it's smaller than dimes right now, but it just started. We are on the east side of Hobart. We're out by the highway where Highway 183 runs north-south and Highway 9 intersect. But small hail, very heavy wind, strong, and a lot of rain. And Damon, we've been in this type of wind. Winds have been probably up over 40 or 50. I'm estimating gusts at least 60 for the last 5 minutes or so. It's kind of relentless right here, right now.
Yeah, we can see that, and there's definitely some outflow that is now surging out of these storms. That means that winds are now being pushed out. So from Altus to Roosevelt, the winds are coming in first, but this entire line is now moving more east than northeast. You're currently watching KOCO 5 News at 10 o'clock, and really the big story and why we're starting our newscast early right now is that this is what we're dealing with. Storms like this in western and northwest and southwestern Oklahoma, all the way up to Ponca City, where the winds are just incredible. If you're watching us on your KOCO 5 mobile app, we've been on these storms since before 7 o'clock as we have been watching the threat for tornadoes. The tornado risk is coming down. We haven't had a tornado warning now in quite some time. Not saying the tornado threat's over, but our tornado watch in western Oklahoma expires at 10 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm watch in central Oklahoma goes until midnight. That's when we expect these storms to begin to decrease. So we still have a ways to go before the tornado threat is going to be over with these cells. Let's go back over to the radar right now. Severe thunderstorm warning from Roosevelt to Godibo. That's moving up to the east. Northeast, you can see the outflow. There it is right there. There's going to be field meteorologist Michael Armstrong in Storm Command, where there's some strong winds just west of Michael. Let's go out to Michael right now. Michael, we're watching your storm that you're on right now. A strong pocket of winds from Weatherford to Clinton. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Right, Damon, that's associated with that circulation, and it's a big scale circulation, bigger than what a tornado would be. It's more of a broader circulation over several miles. And so what this is doing is it is pushing out a lot of wind, but the other thing it's doing, Damon, is it's creating a situation where it is taking every ounce of water. It's like a washcloth when you wring it out and the water just, that's what it's like in there inside that circulation. I just listened to a scanner report of Custer County Sheriff around the Weatherford area, and he said, I cannot see the road. I cannot see the road trying to drive. You do not want to be trying to drive through that along I-40. It's tough. It is tough driving around a storm of that magnitude. So as you can, I would just advise staying off of I-40. Don't try to drive into that. The other thing that you'll notice on the radar too, Damon, is it is actually driving it all the way east, brand new storms along Highway 81 from Okarche into the El Reno area. You see that too. New storms going up ahead of it. So what does that mean? That means a dire situation setting up for Highway 81 because that's tracking up toward Okarche and Hennessy. So it's just, I don't even know what, I mean, it's crazy what's going on out here with the amount of rain that's getting ready to fall here across parts of Blaine, Kingfisher, Canadian, and Washita, Custer counties. It's just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and you can feel that humidity and that moisture in the atmosphere. You step outside, and y'all know what I'm talking about. You guys, it is so muggy outside. That mugginess, that is moisture that the atmosphere has, and so you bring a storm into that, and it can dump a ton of rain. We're looking at rain reports so far out towards Bessie that are pushing over 3 inches, almost 4 inches of rain in just a short amount of time. That is bad. I mean, that is a bad situation. Stephen Jones is now south of Hennessy, making his way towards Dover, coming up on the Cimarron River as well. Let's go to Stephen right now. Stephen, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Hey, Damon, I'm just sitting south of Hennessy and just north of Dover, and like you just said, and we're witnessing there is a lot of water coming across Highway 81. There is a lot of water. We just passed through it. We were driving even below highway speeds, and we couldn't even see it. And when we can't see it, we have light bars and everything on, and it just happens. You're in 2 feet of water, so it happens that quickly. And I urge everyone who's out on the road tonight in northern and even central and western Oklahoma, please be vigilant. If you have to be out, please be vigilant. Otherwise, just stay inside, make a wonderful movie night. Just don't get out in this weather. Back to you, Damon.
You're spot on there with your reporting, Stephen, because it's Saturday night and we're here bringing you these pictures because a lot of us are. I know it's Saturday night. You want to go out. I know it's tough for some of us to not want to go out on Saturday night, or if you have plans, you always want to maintain your plans. But look at these pictures, and the flooding situations that we have that are ongoing this evening are going to be life-threatening. There are so many roads that are closed, that are going to be blocked, that water's coming through, and the police department, the fire department, they're doing their best to get the road barricades up as fast as possible. We can put radar back up. They're doing their best to get the barricades back up as fast as possible, but they too are dealing with detours. So you could be coming across roads that have not yet had barricades put up, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation where the road's washed out and you're in a flooded zone. But 2 inches of rain between Lacey and Hennessy, right along the Cimarron River. You can see where Cimarron River here flows. This is not a good situation at all. This is just in the last 3 hours. It's all going to go back into the Cimarron River. It's going to flow through that community that we have right here. They lost another home today, and now this can eventually flow back in. If you live within about a mile of a river, I would be watching these river levels very closely because these rivers they're already way high, and they're going to get even higher with yet more rain coming in. And it may not happen immediately. It may happen after the storms are gone and all this water that's up to the north just keeps flowing down, keeps meandering through here. These rivers are going to get even bigger, much, much bigger. And we're going to have some newer rivers that are probably going to be formed. We were looking at some of these homes, this neighborhood just west of Cimarron City. They're not that far away from having a new river that's going to cut through that neighborhood. That's how much this water is just eating away the banks of these rivers. So these rain totals are just incredible. I mean, incredible. And if you look at the last 30 days, in May alone, there are many parts of the state that have seen over 10 inches of rain. We usually average 4. So we've had more rain this month than we typically see during our wettest month of the entire year, which is June. The worst is not even here yet. So the bottom line, flooding, it's not just going to be an issue for tonight. It's going to be an issue with every single storm that we're going to see. Let's go back over to the radar, show exactly what's happening on the radar and where the rain is falling, because it is heavy from Kingfisher to Alpha. As we look at the bigger picture here, Ponca City, the worst of it's now spreading east of you. We're going to get some rain that's going to continue. Ponca City, you're another part of the state that just does not need to take any more rain. We have seen the reports. Mecca has been reporting on some of the flooding that we have had in Ponca City. Heavy, strong winter coming in now, and here comes another 2 inches of rain for Ponca City. It's all beginning to add up now. Right now, a quick 1 inch of rain between Ponca and Tonkawa. That fell in about 30 minutes. Mecca, over to you for an update.
Damon, you're talking about Ponca City, K County. Your hearts just go out to the folks out there. And I've been in touch with the K County Sheriff, and he told me they're running out of room. That's what it feels like. The water is just taking over the community. Again, residential areas, lots of flooding, low-lying areas, Ponca City, Blackwell, and they could be dealing with flash flooding at any time. And so we are keeping in touch with them, just knowing all that they are going through. And we know that in K County, they did earlier this week dealt with flooding death. And so our hearts just go out to the folks out there as they try to rally around and deal with these storms that just feel like they aren't stopping, Damon.
Yeah, and we feel so bad for those that are out across northern Oklahoma. So if you're watching in Oklahoma City right now, there's a boundary that you can see that is coming down to the south. This is what storms are flaring up on. So right now across Oklahoma City, Mustang, Tuttle, our weather is fairly quiet, but there is a boundary, and you can see it. Jonathan, you can put this in elapsed mode because it's moving down to the south. And see, there it is right here. And so as that boundary comes down into the metro, we're going to see storms develop, and so we very well could see 2 inches of rain coming into Oklahoma City before midnight. I know a lot of us are out. It's Saturday night. A lot of us have things to do. We like to go out on Saturday night, but while the weather is quiet for now, as this boundary continues to surge down to the south, we very well not only could be dealing with even more heavy rain, but the tornado threat could ramp up as this complex rolls over this boundary. So wherever this storm complex is, as it moves over this boundary, that's where we're going to see that threat for a quick spin-up tornado. Definitely some strong winds for sure attached to this. Chris Lee, you saw his video earlier. Let's go out to Chris Lee, actually, because Chris Lee looks like he's finally out of at least that strong pocket of wind. Chris, you're out of the wind, but now you're in the heavy rain. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Well, we are moving north on Highway 183 out of Hobart. We're moving towards the Rocky area, and very heavy rain. But worse than that, there's a lot of water on the road. We were talking about that earlier on some of the roads we were traveling back and forth on, kind of watching the ditches fill up as the different storms trained over. And because it's dark, it's hard to tell. There's obviously water on the road because it's raining, and there are places where there's enough water that you're splashing through, and then there's areas where there's like 6 inches of water on the road, and it's hard to tell a difference between the different places and different conditions. And we're a little bit afraid that if something comes up where there is a lot of water across the road, the only way you find it is by being the first one to drive into it. So we're not making particularly good time. We're just trying to be very careful, and we kind of splashed into some water that was coming all the way across the road that splashed up in the windshield and blinded us there for a minute. So it's a kind of very treacherous drive out here. Going to echo what everybody else is saying out there. If you don't have to get there out here, it's a good idea, because one of the things that you have to consider is while it's raining this hard, even though you come through and this road looks open and good now, the water's coming up behind you. Those ditches along the side of the road, they're full of water, and that water is going to be rising, and if that water rises behind you, then you may not be able to get back the way you came. So you're just going to be better off staying where you are until the water goes down, if there's any way you could do that, guys.
Yeah, good advice. They're coming in from Chris Lee. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning on this storm that Chris Lee is currently on. This does include Anadarko. So if your phone just went off in Caddo, Comanche, Kiowa, Washita County, this warning is mainly going to be for 70-mile-per-hour winds, a very big wind pocket. Not a lot of hail, but definitely quite a bit of wind in it. Let's go back over to the radar because we can see exactly where these heavy rain totals have been. This is the last 6 hours. Bessie 3.26. Now these are weather sites that we have, Mesonet sites. So this is official. Bessie, Elk City. It says past 6 hours. It's actually really the last 3 hours that we have picked up this much rain in that amount of time. That's why we're saying, look, this flooding threat is just unbelievable. Here's our new warning. You can see up across northwestern Oklahoma. Cheyenne, 1 inch of rain. Camargo, 1 inch of rain. Sealing, a little over 1.25 inch of rain. Watonga to Hinton. The rain's adding up. It's going to fill up here. But this storm has a lot of strong wind. And so if we keep it at this track moving to the east, Tuttle, Amber, Chickasha, Ninnekah, eventually into Moore and Cleveland County, it will jog itself in here, and it's going to come in here pretty quickly, but probably not closer until about 11 o'clock. So right now, Alfalfa at 9:46. We're going to Fort Cobb at 10:06. Washita 1014, Gracemont, Anadarko 1024. All of these communities that we have right here, you're in the path of this storm, and it's been warned on for 70-mile-per-hour winds. That's a big-time storm that we're dealing with as it continues to surge to the east, and it's moving fast. It is moving real fast. So it'll get here. It'll get towards Blanchard, Oklahoma City, Moore, Norman. It will get here before midnight. Mecca, we've been talking a lot about the flooding situation out on these rivers. Give us an update with what's coming in right now.
Yeah, we actually want to show you some video of flooding from earlier today, Damon, that you were talking about, if we can pull that up. This flooding just causing another home to fall into that Cimarron River. Hopefully we have it, maybe a picture. That video was sent in to us by a viewer. We're working to get that video, but Damon, as you said, that flooding, just such a problem. There you go. You can see that home just falling into the river, floating down the river there. Viewers sending that in to us. This was in the Twin Lakes area earlier today. Other homes are still hanging on, eventually likely to fall off. So again, we're going to ask you to continue to send in your pictures and your video. Help us tell the story. And Damon, as you watch that, it's just heartbreaking knowing that a family is losing everything, their home down the river.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying our best to just, hit the message as hard as we can about what's happening. Look how high that river is. Look how high it is right now. That happened earlier today, and that is going to that water is going to get even higher, much higher. It's gonna come over the banks. It will come over the banks. And look how wide that river is. Typically, our rivers here in Oklahoma are not that wide, but this is definitely one of them. And so, as we've been saying, look, this is a horrible situation that we're seeing. Brand new flood warning has just been issued for Caddo, Custer, Greer, Kiowa, and Washita County. This is going to go well into the early morning hours for this complex of storms that's moving in, where when all is said and done, up to about 4 inches of rain are expected. Now, it is moving fast to the east, but storms in Guthrie, flood warnings here. It's mainly just heavy rain. This is heavy rain. We don't have a severe thunderstorm warning attached to this. So heavy rain from Hennessy to Guthrie up towards Coyle, Stillwater, the heavy rain's coming in. This right here, this is still the atmosphere that we have in place that is still very unstable. So we're going to have quite a bit of wind. And so this is the most significant part of the storm. It's bowing out. When it does that, it's about to push in some pretty strong winds. And this is not just your everyday severe thunderstorm warning that we have out here in Oklahoma, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This one's going to be taking it up a couple notches, about 70 miles per hour, and it is surging fast to the east. So there's a couple, there's the good and the bad out of this particular storm right here. I'm always a glass half full person. So the good news about this is that if it moves quickly to the east, that means we're not going to be dealing with as big of a flooding threat if it's moving slower. On the bad side of it, however, because of its rapid movement to the east, it's going to pack some strong winds, 70-mile-per-hour winds. And so what do you want? Do you want the flooding rain? Do you want the strong winds? This is definitely going to be a pretty bad storm both ways. Let's go out to Chris Lee. Chris Lee, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we are now heading on Highway 9. We're going east from the Hobart area, and we are encountering quite a bit of, we've already seen a couple of places where the ditches are full and running onto the roadway. Water is splashing up. Areas so far, this road is passable, but again, getting into that territory we were talking about before, if you're wanting to get out here and be in this, then if you're trying to get somewhere, the water is definitely coming up. There are not enough people out here to put barricades up on every single place that there's water running over the road. The water is coming up. If you drive to a place where you could get through, when you try to come back, you may not be able to get back through. That water has come up. If it was 6 inches when you went through the first time, it may be a couple of feet the next time. So you can't guarantee that this is the type of night where the best thing you can do is stay off the roads, stay out of any kind of water, and just stay inside, because it's dangerous out here to be driving around and driving through any of this water.
Yeah, and Chris, when we look at your picture, you've only been in about an inch of rain. I mean, this is an area that's only picked up an inch. You see how high the water is on the side of the roads here. Put another 2 inches on top of this. That water, oh, hey, Chris, be careful. Yeah, this is what we're saying right here is that, And this is what we're saying is that there are so many flooding reports coming in that they don't have enough time. I know the police and the fire department, they're doing their best to get these barricades up as fast as possible, but they can't get to all of them as fast as the rain is coming down. So a lot of us, you may encounter flooded roads before the fire department, before the police department can get into there and put up the barricade, which is why we're saying, look, this is a serious night tonight. Let's go back out to Chris. Chris, give us an update.
Yeah, we are encountering some water over the roads. This is Highway 9 again, going east out of Hobart. But in this part of the state, I can tell you this is any road. This is every road, your city roads, your county roads, your state highways, perhaps even along the interstates. There's water that is that's coming up and getting across the road. In places, it just kind of infringes on part of the road and slows you down. In other areas, it's completely across the road. It just don't drive into anything that has any kind of, where you can't see the sides of the road and it's just best not to drive out here. The problem, again, and getting into it, if you say don't drive into the water, well, there's water on the road. It's wet. There's places where it's just running off the road because it's raining so hard. We're just downstream of the area where we were getting those 60 mile an hour winds earlier. So this has had some very heavy rain over it and some strong winds. So we're kind of dealing with that everywhere. And to the west towards Burns Flat, Sentinel, that area's had a whole lot more water over it.
Look at your picture right now coming in from Chris Lee. I mean, look how dark it is, but just look at the side of the roads. High water here, high water here. I know that this is built for this. This is why the ditches are that way, but they're not built for record rainfall. And 2015 was a record year for us. The wettest year in Oklahoma history, 2015. Right now, we are soaring past that. I mean, we are really going past that. And here it is, not even the wettest month of the entire year. That is June. So to put into perspective just how unusual this is, we're dealing with a situation that's just not normal for us. We're not in a drought. We're not even close to being in a drought. And these fields are wet. These ditches are filling up. This is just such a bad situation. These are thunderstorms warned on where Chris Lee is currently located for 70-mile-per-hour winds. This is surging to the east. Back over to the radar we go so we can give the latest on not only the heavy rain, but where these storms are moving through. We have had some big-time rain reports out of western Oklahoma. And so severe thunderstorm warning, and this storm is warned on for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Stephen Jones is in Dover. Let's go to Stephen right now. Stephen, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Hey, Damon, I'm just south of Dover on Highway 81, and it might be a little bit difficult to see in this shot with the 360-degree cam because with all it's just torrential rains pouring right now, but we are on top of the Cimarron River, and in between the lightning flashes here, you might be able to see the railroad truss that actually runs parallel to this bridge off to the right. And we notice the Cimarron River is just to the very bottom of that truss, like the railroad truss on top. So the river's just barely passing up underneath that railroad truss. So the water is extremely high. And as we were talking about the Cimarron River just earlier about taking away all those houses, I'm afraid it's not over yet because this rain that's falling tonight is falling right over the Cimarron River. So all that wetness from the fields and everything's going to feed right into the Cimarron River, and it's just going to make matters a lot worse. Back to you, Damon.
Yeah, Stephen, we see it when the lightning hits. We can see just how high that water is, not only the bridge that you're on, but right there. And yeah, it goes to show you, this river is so full, and it is going to get much, much worse, much worse because the rain, it takes a couple hours before all this can come down. So a flood warning has been issued for this river. And as I mentioned before, I'll say it again, typically our flood warnings have expiration times. National Weather Service just said, look, until further notice, this river's gonna be flooding until it's no longer flooding. Typically with river gauges, we can get a generalized idea as to when this river is gonna recede. We don't. We have no idea. No idea, because the rain is so heavy, it continues to fall. It's not going to stop anytime soon. And so this is just turning into a life-threatening situation. If you're down by the Cimarron City, and that neighborhood, by the way, that Mecca just showed you with that video, is going to be right here where you see the bend in the river. And with these rain totals that we've had lately, 2015, 2019, we're going to be getting a new river. We lost another house today. You can see it right here. Flowing down the river. And you know, the unfortunate part about this is that eventually the river just pulls a house down, and not until the water comes down are they going to be able to find exactly where this house ended up. So it's so sad to see these homes just breaking away from the river like this, but that's sad to see. So sad to see. Back over to the radar. We'll keep that shot up. Right now, what we are working this evening is mainly, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning in northern Oklahoma that's now moving out of the KOCO viewing area. It's headed into the Tulsa viewing area. We still have one severe thunderstorm warning that's ongoing that continues for another 48 minutes. It's going to be for the storm that's down to the southwest. This is for 70-mile-per-hour winds and moving to the east. And as of right now, it goes until 10:45. So at 10:45, where would this storm be? It's going to be coming through Anadarko, east of Gracemont, and as you go just west of Chickasha, coming up to Grady, McLean County. Strong winds, big pocket of strong winds associated with this. Moving to the east, with that strong winds, that's where you can find the 70-mile-an-hour winds. Comes into Lokiba at 9:59, it's about 10 o'clock. We're going to Minko at 10:37, Union City 10:39, Pecas at 10:40, Bridge Creek at about 11 o'clock. We go into Wheatland there, the west side of the airport, a little after 11 o'clock. Outlet Mall, 11:08. Will Rogers World Airport by about 11 or so, right before midnight. So for anyone that is out on the Saturday night in Oklahoma City, what time will these storms come in? As of right now, shortly after 11 o'clock. We have other storms that are now popping up ahead of it, but definitely, Jonathan, that pocket of winds, those strong winds, that's pretty intense.
We're going to have to watch that real closely, how it evolves as it comes into central Oklahoma. So again, two threats, wind threat south of I-40, I think north of I-40 for the Ponca City, Perry, Guthrie area. You're on the backside and the leading edge. So let's just say northern Oklahoma, you're clear for now of that quick spin up tornado risk. You're going to have some strong winds on the backside. Those could get up there about 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, but really transitioning from Weatherford to Kingfisher up towards Perry, that flash flooding risk. Right now, the wind threat and quick spin up threat is going to be I-40 south from Binger to Carnegie, go to Bow to Roosevelt. That's why we have Michael Armstrong on the nose of that little mini Bow Echo, and then Chris Lee on the backside there. So we're just going to have to watch for eddies right now. This severe thunderstorm warning still goes until about 10:45. Let's go to Michael Armstrong. Michael, you're just north of Lokiba. What do you got?
I have an absolutely torrential downpour right here. I mean torrential. Yeah, you know, this is just the intensity of the rainfall. It's just so blinding that, I mean, you can get around, but you don't want to. I mean, it's. And in some places you can't get around after it's rained so hard. That area with that circulation just to my north is driving all of this. It's moving up toward Greenfield and Gary. Greenfield, you're getting ready to get rainfall like you haven't seen in a while. I mean, these kind of rainfall rates take me back to Tropical Storm Aaron. I mean, like, it's just raining that hard out here. Now, hopefully it's not going to rain as much as like what we saw then, but we're going to see flooding in some areas that will probably rival that. I mean, you go back a ways to get to that one. So I mean, it's intense. And the thing about it is new storms are going up over Moore and over Midwest City and El Reno and Okarche. And you know what? What's driving all of that is this circulation that's out here that's been producing 3 to 4 inches of rain and just horrific flash flooding from Burns Flat up to the Clinton area and back to the southwest. So it looks like right near me and just south of me, this area that's moving into Binger and Kogar and Mustang, it's going to be ridiculous on the amount of rain that comes down. I can see the reflectivity on the radar just behind me, and it is very intense as well. So, unfortunately, we still got a long way to go with this storm.
We sure do, Michael. You can see Michael's GPS coordinate there. He's coming up. He's like 1, 2, 3 miles south of Hinton, and he's northbound. So imagine he's going northbound there, and there's his, if you pull up radar here, center screen, there's his GPS location. Michael has some strong winds just off to his west as this line comes in, and yes, there are some cells developing over Oklahoma City. Gotta go ahead and watch those. We're in a highly sheared environment. I don't think it's going to happen, but if those start to spin up a little bit, we'll have to watch those. But again, more concern now, Damon, there's some strong winds. This is now looking like I was just talking about the risk north of OKC, northern Oklahoma. Your quick spin up risk has come down, but this looks like a little mini bow echo. That's what that looks like. So you're going to get damaging winds with this, and you're going to get some vortices on the north side and the south side. And also, Michael put out, or so he said, again, this is all coming together to be a very significant heavy rainfall event now coming in from Weatherford into Canadian County.
Yeah, so brand new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. This is an hour-long warning because this line of storms, by the time it'll get here at 11 o'clock. And this is not your everyday severe thunderstorm warning. This thing is surging, and it is moving so fast to the east, and we're not looking at just a small pocket of wind damage with this. We're looking at widespread wind damage with this. And what I'm hoping is that this thing weakens, and it weakens fast. However, this atmosphere really hasn't been touched a whole lot today with any type of storms, and so it's still very unstable. So as the storms surge out, it still has that instability, and because it is now increasing in speed, it's going to come in here real fast. So Gracemont at 10:14, Calumet at 10:20. We go into El Reno at 10:33. El Reno, Lucky Star Casino, heads up. Look, if you're at the Lucky Star Casino this evening, at 10:33, that's when the storm is coming in. It's coming in about half an hour. I know the casino's very popular on a Saturday night, so 10:33, this storm is going to blow in, and you're going to be able to tell. I mean, that building's going to be rocking back and forth. We go into, let's see here, Okarche at 10:36, Minko at 10:36, Pecasset, Banner, Richland, Tuttle, and Yukon at about 10:40. And when I say that this is not your everyday severe thunderstorm warning, this is not your typical severe thunderstorm warning. But when you see the blue right here, now this is going to be a little bit above the ground, but to get a good idea as to the type of winds that we have associated with this can be pretty impressive. Now, yeah, we're going to see some moderate rotation that's going to be on the leading edge of this, which I expect to see. But not only are we going to see that, we're also going to see these winds are going to easily push 70. I would not be surprised if a lot of us across Canadian County are about to see winds that push up close to 80 miles per hour. That right there goes to show you just what we're about to see on the left-hand side of your television screen. The bottom left, that's coming in from field meteorologist Michael Armstrong and Storm Command. We have a lot of wind. We have a lot of rain. And these pockets of winds, the strong wind field extends way out to the west. You can see right here the winds off the ground, 85 to 90 miles per hour. That could easily transition to at least 70 mile per hour plus winds on the ground. So this is a wide area of strong winds from Eakly up to Lookeba. It's going to come in fast. As the sweep goes by, you can see how fast these strong winds are going to surge it to the east, and they're going to come in fast. You're going to be outside. You're going to have winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then within 30 seconds, you're going to go to about 70 miles per hour. Your patio furniture, it's blowing. It's going to be gone. I mean, hopefully, if you have a small tree, hopefully they don't bend over and snap. But this is pretty bad. Up on the upper left-hand side in Kingfisher, looks like Stephen Jones is coming up on some roadblocks now that are out across Kingfisher, which is good. That's what we want to see. We know that the police department working their best to get these barricades up, and so there's going to be a lot of barricades. They're going to be up this evening, and they're likely still going to be there as you head out tomorrow morning. Let's go out to, I want to go back to the anchor desk Mecca Rain for an update.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up, Damon, about those barriers. We're getting some questions into the newsroom about what happens if you come across a road just filled with water. Who do you call? Obviously, don't want anyone else to travel that road for safety reasons. So I'm talking to a couple of emergency managers who are telling me two things. You may call 911, or if you get home safely, call your county commissioner. Make sure someone knows so they can get some barricades up to make sure nobody is traveling those roads. Also want to do a quick update about one of those road closures. This one taking you back to Mangum. Quick correction. The road that's closed there, US 283 and State Highway 34 junction closed. They're telling us water, like so many other parts of the state, water all over the roadway. So Damon, we will go ahead and send it back to you.
Yeah, and parts of western and southwestern Oklahoma have now picked up 5 inches of rain. So we have been dealing with so much rain lately that, I mean, these numbers are just incredible. Let's go back out to Stephen Jones. Stephen, you're in Kingfisher. Give us an update on what you're coming up on.
Hey, Damon, we just hit a roadblock ourselves. Highway 81, just north of Kingfisher, completely closed. ODOT is out here enforcing the closure, saying anybody past this will be completely submerged in water past this road closed sign. So even us, we're going to have to turn around and backtrack. And this is just a very dangerous situation. It's nighttime. You cannot see these floods. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to reiterate that. It's just overall very dangerous situation. And this isn't an isolated event. This is all across central, northern, and all of Oklahoma. I'm just going to say all of Oklahoma is like this. This is just widespread, and it's pretty incredible. Back to you, David.
Yeah, Stephen, it really is pretty incredible. So you're up on the Kingfisher Creek right now. That's going to be on the north side of town. So for those of you in Kingfisher, this is what you're coming up on. They're putting the barricades up as fast as they possibly can. But that water, that creek, it is incredibly high. I mean, it is so high right now. And it's only going to get worse because we still have a lot more water upstream to flow down. Back over to the radar we go right now because this is where Stephen Jones is located. You can see this is the creek right here. So we're on the north side of town. The rain, it is heavy. I believe the airport's going to be up there on the northwest side of Kingfisher for those that are trying to get perspective on where we are. But it's the bridge out of town. Here's the railroad tracks. Yeah, there's the airport. So he's going to have to go back up north. All right, let's go back into, let's go back out to the radar because the severe thunderstorm warning continues. Jonathan, what do you have there?
I know Kingfisher fairly well. There's an underpass right over here on the east side of town, and everyone knows about this, and that area floods all the time. So I bet you that's probably closed right now, the railroad track there, and it's an underpass or spillway that goes up underneath, and that's probably flooded. If that creek is closed and it's flooding there, you can see Stephen Jones. I love the high-res mapping. You can see trees and people's houses. So he was here. He's going back west on Airport Road trying to get around here. But, yeah, Kingfisher is going to have very significant flooding. Now, Michael had said, you know, hey, he's a little bit worried, Tropical Storm Aaron-ish. So Tropical Storm Aaron, I worked that night. It was a horrible night. Kingfisher had 5.7 inches of rain that night. The highest rainfall total was 9.3, probably down near Fort Cobb area. But I remember the next morning, just the aerial shots that we had of the flooding in Kingfisher County where complete fields were underwater. That was 5.7 inches. And if you look at estimated rainfall here on our, you know, with our radar here, you know, I don't know if we're going to see 5. If we did, that's going to be a major problem. I don't think it's necessarily 5 tonight. It's going to be the 5 they had last night plus 2 or 3 tonight. Now maybe we're talking the caliber in that range. Maybe not exactly. It's hard to compare the two because there's such a big area of rain. But you know, that people in that area just got to watch out.
Well, in the last 3 days, Jonathan, Kingfisher's had 5.2 inches of rain. 5.2 inches of rain and in the last 5 days. And that's not even close to being the wettest spot in this state. Since last week, Kingfisher, in the last 7 days, Kingfisher has had 7.5 inches of rain. So if you look at rain totals just in the last 7 days, Kingfisher is one of the wettest spots in the state. Now, we've had other spots in northeastern Oklahoma, northeast of Tulsa that are surging past 8 and 9 inches of rain, but these rain totals are just incredible. So the tornado watch has been allowed to expire. So that's gone now until 10 o'clock. Rain rates that we have here, when we look at some of these rain rates, that is incredible. 6 inches of rain per hour. That means that if that one thunderstorm sat right over that spot for 1 hour, 6 inches of rain. Now, we know the thunderstorms are moving, but you still have lots of, this shows where the heaviest, most intense thunderstorm pockets are. Right there, right here. Here's another one out by Greenfield, out to Geary. That still has to move up to the northeast. So Watauga, the rain's about to get even heavier than it is outside your window right now. Omega Alpha, it's about to pick up as well. We do have a couple cells popping up over the metro right now, but so far the worst has been just west and northwest of the metro. So the rain, it is heavy. We do have a couple little cells popping up, and you'll recall Michael mentioning that these are being driven by this storm complex surging to the east, but Chickasha, Amber, Tuttle, Mustang, you're all inside this severe thunderstorm warning. It comes up to Oklahoma and McLean and Cleveland County. I expect that it will be extended. So now what we're doing, not only looking at some strong winds along this, but you're going to find at least some eddies, some quick spin ups here. But this thing has some big time winds along it. So Coger, 918, Minco, 1039, Union City, 1040. This is when the strong winds are going to hit you. 1043, Pecasset, Bridge Creek, 1106. Will Rogers World Airport, don't want to be landing when this thing's coming in here, 1118. Newcastle, 1120. OCCC, 1121. Dell Campus, 1121. Then we started going in the southern and southwestern parts of Oklahoma City, Westmore, right before 1130. Let's go with the field meteorologist, Michael Armstrong in Storm Command. Michael, give us an update on where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we're on I-40 now, and again, it's just blinding rainfall. I mean, you know, you see a lot of people driving with their flashers on. Man, it's water. There's so much water coming down in Oklahoma right now. It's just unbelievable. Now, we're gonna be ahead of this line of storms here pretty quick, and we're gonna be able to look down. And when we were coming through Binger, I mean, we kind of talk about it and we say SLCs or scary-looking clouds sometimes. Let me tell you, it was a scary-looking cloud coming through Binger and looking at the front edge of this lowered gust front that's surging out from this damaging wind line that you were talking about. This is going to come in and have an impact in El Reno and Union City, and I'm just so concerned about the rainfall from El Reno north to Okarche, Kingfisher, back to Geary, Calumet, Watauga, all these areas, because I mean there's just so much falling ahead of this area that's produced those just incredible rainfall rates across western Oklahoma. So it's like a double whammy, right? You get it once or 3 times or however many, and then all of a sudden this big circulation that's driving all of this comes in behind it and just dumps even more rain on top of it. I mean, we just can't catch a break with it. I mean, it's just over and over and over again, and that's where it's going to create, again, life-threatening flash flooding.
Yeah, and Michael, you hit the message with the right tone. Life-threatening flash flood warning that we're dealing with. A lot of our phones are about to go off. Just a heads up, if you're watching in Oklahoma City, a flash flood warning was just issued, so your phones are probably going off right about now. If your phone is going off, which I think many of ours are, that's because of that flash flood warning that was just issued. So you received that alert. We're watching this line of storms, and it's not going to take much for us to deal with some type of flooding threat. There's Michael right now. He is going to be making his way to the east, but let's pull on out here. So everyone that's phone just went off, that flash flood warning goes until 4:15 in the morning. You can see it's pretty much going to extend Cleveland County, so Norman, Moore, Chickasha, Dibble, Blanchard, Newcastle included, up to Edmond, south of Guthrie. Oh, well, Guthrie, you have a flash flood warning up to the north. But look at this storm as it surges out to the east. There is a tornado threat. Looks like got some outflow now rushing out ahead of this. The last radar scan, we're now seeing that. There are 2 things that can happen with this outflow that we see now hitting Anadarko. One, storm complex can weaken, which we hope it does. 2, the strong winds are going to be detached from where the rain is, which means that you might get hit by the winds first, and then the rain's going to come in here. Still, though, with the latest radar scan, we see that green line. We're hoping that this line of storms will weaken. We know it's likely going to weaken sometime around the midnight hour. We're hoping that this right here is going to be the beginning of its downfall. And that's what we want to see. Let's go to Stephen Jones. Stephen, how's navigating through Kingfisher?
Navigating through Kingfisher is really difficult, even for us in a higher profile vehicle. Almost all of Highway 81 has just been covered in water, and we've been trying to dodge detours, going in and around road closures, trying to, see, find a way around town, and it's been very difficult. There's only been one or two roads open that is not flooded that we have found, and as you can see on my stream right here, we are on Highway 81 going south out of Kingfisher, and it's just full of water. You can almost not even see the lines anymore in the street. This is really dangerous, and I would urge nobody to be on the road right now. And as these people were in front of me, I hope they are going home immediately because there's a lot more heavy rain to come for Kingfisher. Back to you, Damon.
You're spot on there, Stephen. There is a lot more heavy rain coming in for Kingfisher, and it will continue. My goodness. Let's go back over to the radar. So what we're doing now, we're watching closely. Stephen's going to be south of Kingfisher, but there's Nick Smith. Outflow winds coming out. Still finding at least some strong winds going to be attached to this. We're looking for some areas of rotation. Our rotation tracker is going to, at times, ping moderate rotation because the winds are very light here, and then they quickly pick up. So not necessarily saying that there's going to be an immediate tornado threat, but a lot of times when you have light winds like we see right here, and then it picks up suddenly, that can mark off at least the radar, can trick the radar a little bit here. So we're going to watch it closely here for you. And our crews are out. There's Storm Command. There's Nick Smith. But the bigger story would be this wide field, of strong winds surging to the east. In the blue is our color table for Jonathan. Is that 80 to 90 mile per hour winds? Pretty confident that when we have blue on the radar, that means that we're looking at least pockets of 70 mile an hour winds. And so that's still pretty strong. We'll see some pockets of pushing close to 80 out to the west, and that's going to be above the ground. But if you see blue, 90, you know that we're talking about some big-time winds. So all of this right here, this is 70, pockets close to 80 mile an hour winds. What we're really hoping is that it weakens. A lot of the data that we have that was coming in was saying that as these storms approach the metro, they were likely going to weaken, but it was going to weaken, if not toward the metro, right on top of the metro. So western parts of OKC, Yukon, Piedmont, Tuttle, Minco, still very concerned for you as these strong winds are coming in. Updated timeline with this strong wind field coming in. Comes into Minco at 10:28, Pecasset at about 10:30. We're going to Union City at 10:30, El Reno 10:32, Amber Tuttle 10:39. We're going to Yukon at 10:48. The toll booth there, that's going to be the first toll booth when you're making your way down towards Chickasha. At 10:50, Xerox plant 10:51, Yukon High School Lake Overholser right before 11 o'clock. So let's hope that we can say goodbye to the blue, hello to more green. That would mean more of like winds around 60 miles per hour. But as of right now, this storm is still very much intense as it makes its way towards Union City, Tuttle, Mustang, and towards southwest OKC. I know what you're saying. You're saying, look, winds are not that strong right now. It's pretty calm right here. It's going to change pretty quickly. We know rain's now going up. Storms are now popping up over the OKC metro. We can hear it here on the roof. So you're going to at least have a few quick downpours across Oklahoma City. Those are going to be hit and miss. Out towards Tinker Air Force Base. Let's click on over to reflectivity for the village, to the OKC Zoo. A couple pockets of rain are now popping up. There's one right by the zoo. It's not going to last very long, but that's going to lift up into Edmond. So I know some of you are messaging us and saying, hey, it's starting to rain here at our house. These are just what we call quick pop-up showers, a few rumbles of thunder with them, not a whole lot. They're not going to last very long, but this is not the severe stuff. The line of severe is going to be this right here, surging to the east. We have Chris Lee in between Godebo and Carnegie. There's going to be Storm Command near Calumet, Nick Smith near Tuttle. This line still going to have a lot of heavy rain as it moves to the east. Not a lot of hail will be inside of it. Not looking at anything larger than quarter-size hail with it. But this complex, my goodness, I mean, this thing is just moving fast. That thing is surging to the east. We'll have to watch little appendages like this. have to watch little appendages like that moving to the east where you can get some strong winds that surge out and even a quick tornado threat. Nick Smith is going to be right on this, so I have to get Nick on the phone here. Where at least you could have a quick spin out tornado, or if anything, just a small pocket of about 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Let's go out to Nick Smith right now. Nick, looking just down to your southwest, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon. I am looking back to the west with my 360 cam, and I actually can see a little bit of a lowering with that little appendage that we were looking at on radar. And I'm watching that the winds, man. You just said it, that they're really surging out right now, and we're trying to stay ahead of this thing because it's really on the move right now. So it's going to be knocking on the door to the west side of the metro here, real soon. So people need to be ready. I think you talked about people's lawn equipment or patio equipment that they need to batten down anything. Go ahead and secure anything that you don't want going flying, because I heard stories about people that had nice patio tables that had glass on it that shattered up against fences and more last night, not far from your neighborhood, Damon, just because of those really, really strong winds. And here we are again. We're going to have a lot of rain coming in and a lot of wind coming in. So we're going to continue to watch this little lowering that's formed on the leading edge of this line, and I'll let you know if I see anything else. Back to you, Damon.
All right, yeah. So yeah, our patio furniture went flying off last night. So Nick Smith currently near Minco. Let's go back over to the radar and show you where we're looking at least a quick spit up tornado. So there's Nick. We're looking at this right here. That is what we're looking at. So as the sweep goes by, moving to the east, if it's not a tornado, it's definitely going to be some pretty strong winds, pushing about close to 70 miles per hour. So Minco, be ready. In about 30 seconds, you're going to get hit with some very strong winds. 70 miles per hour easily. Not a lot of hail out of this, but you will get some very strong winds getting ready to surge right into Minco with this storm as we zoom in even tighter. So there's Minco. So we're almost 1.5 miles just to the west. Okay, about 4 miles. Okay, so there we go. Each block is usually about a mile here. It's about 4.5 miles. Strong winds right here. Our rotation tracker picking up definitely a strong wind pocket. That's going to be just down to the southwest. There you go, just west of 81. That's where it's going to be located. Hopefully this will move just south of Minco, but Nick Smith, we'll know exactly what. I mean, Nick Smith is looking right into this. Another area of rotation picking up here, at least a quick spin-up tornado. This will be just south of Lake El Reno. It's going to be just south of I-40, very close. I mean, we're going to go in towards Reno Road, just southwest of El Reno. Yeah, Jonathan?
In QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. Another way to say brief spin up. What we saw last night come in over Will Rogers, it's happening now, Damon. I'm just telling you, this right here, classic signature as this kind of bows out. We just got to watch as we did this last night, scan by scan. We need to watch this. Now, I'll be honest with you, the Mesonet has a Mesonet site in Minco. So there's a pretty good chance that wind could hit the Mesonet site and we can get a real-time reading, but Nick is right there. So I think what we need to do, Michael's on that northern little couplet, Nick is on this couplet. We need to walk these through the metro, and I get it. There's flash flood risk in OKC. We'll get to that when the flooding gets here, but let's walk this.
No, correction, flash flood emergency.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're going to have to watch this. I want Nick, he's got that 360 cam, and I want him to walk this into the metro. Now, as it gets closer, east of Piedmont Road, Highway 4, and we get into Mustang, we're going to have, it's going to be more densely populated. So if there's power flashes, we're going to use that. But we're really, I just basically want Michael to stay on the north side. I want Nick to stay on this side. And we just need to ping pong back and forth. Because last night, they saw the funnel. They saw the funnel come in, so we're going to have to watch this. This is, again, a developing spin-up. We just watch it scan by scan.
Yeah, so flash flood emergency for Kingfisher. So when you hear flash flood emergency, treat that like, I mean, it's rare. The very first flash flood emergency that we had in Oklahoma City was back in 2015. These are rare to use, but this is used to really hit the message as hard as possible Kingfisher, a flash flood emergency is now being issued for Kingfisher. Stephen Jones, give Stephen Jones a heads up that of the dire situation that's now coming into Kingfisher with this right here. Once again, a flash flood emergency now in effect for those of us in Kingfisher because of the situation that we have ongoing right now. So the rain's going to continue. We're talking about a big time flooding threat. Let's go out to Stephen right now. Stephen, a rare flash flood emergency has just been issued for Kingfisher. You're right there. Give us an up. Okay, give us. Okay, we'll. Okay.
Here, our phones are just going off right now. We're just south of Kingfisher. And yes, Damon, I completely agree. This situation warrants it. As we were going through Kingfisher, we were noticing the waters were rapidly rising throughout the town. Roads were completely almost underwater, and this is what we would call a very
over to the radar right now. Tornado warning now coming out from Minco. Minco, get into your tornado shelter right now with this. A tornado warning is now coming out for Minco. That is where it is. It's coming right into Minco. We have Nick Smith right there. Nick, tornado warning coming out. Tornado is going to be just a few miles to your west of you. Give us an update on what you're seeing, Nick.
Yeah, Damon, I'm sitting here on Highway 37 looking back to the west and just watching as this developing tornado is just taking just trying to scan the sky and see where it might be at this point in time. Give me just a second, Damon. Let me look and I'll get right back to you.
No, tornado warning coming for El Reno as well. So we've got, okay, so now we're working 2 tornado warnings. Let's go back over to the radar right now. So tornado warning here, tornado warning for El Reno, Minco. Go into your tornado shelter right now. Michael, there's going to be a developing tornado right in front of you, just southwest of El Reno. Give us an update, Michael.
Yep. Right, yeah, this is going to be right along just south of Country Club Drive and I-40. It's going to move up. Damon, right now, it looks like it's going to track right across the southeast side of El Reno. If there's a tornado in there, you want to be in your tornado shelter. Now, here's the thing. With this happening right on top of El Reno, I cannot stress this enough. Do not get out and try to drive to a shelter. Go to the center part, smallest room, lowest level. If you don't have a designated FEMA-rated tornado shelter, go to an innermost bathroom or closet with no windows. This is getting ready to pass very close to Highway 81 and I-40. Okay, it's directly in front of us, about 2 to 3 miles. It's very small, but here's the thing. Don't panic and try to get out and drive in this. Take shelter, seek shelter in place. That is the thing to do.
So, Michael, we see that tornado is going to be right crossing over I-40. So we're going to go bounce back and forth. Minco, you're in your shelter right now. We've got Nick on that storm, and we've got Michael on this right here. So we have 2 tornado warnings just west of the Oklahoma City Metro. There's a tornado warning right there for Minco. Minco, you're in your shelter right now. And we have a developing tornado right here as we go towards El Reno. Look at that. That's right over Minco. Minco, you're in your shelter. Nick Smith is going to be looking right into this. This is surging fast to the east at 50 miles per hour. Very fast storm motion right now. So tornado right over Minco. Innermost room, or you're in your tornado shelter right now, Minco. Same thing for El Reno. We got if we can get to a 2-box if it's possible, put Nick shot and Michael shot there in the left-hand side. Both of them are going to be looking right at this, but this is a tornado that is going to be right over Minco right now. Tornado warning just went off. We also have a tornado warning up in El Reno. Let's go back up because that tornado would be crossing over I-40 right now. So that's a tornado, and this is going to be a tornado warning as well for El Reno, and it's going to be on the south side of town. Michael's coming up right into it, so that's where the tornado is, south side of El Reno. I-40 is going to be very dangerous right now as that couplet is going to be right on top of I-40. We can put a 2-box up and show Michael shot at least because there's some big trucks in front of him that I'm afraid are about to get blown over. So it's very important that we see that video. There we go. So I'm afraid that some of these trucks are going to get blown over as there's a tornado that's crossing right in front of Michael. This is going to be I-40 going into El Reno. So Storm Command in El Reno, the sirens are sounding. Absolutely necessary. This Michael near El Reno. We have Nick down by Minka right now. So this is what we're looking at. This is going to be Nick. He's looking to the back near Tuttle. This is going to be Michael near El Reno. You can see exactly where Michael is. And now that area of circulation is going to be on the east side of El Reno. Out to Michael we go. Michael, give us an update.
Damon, this is, I'm just scared for people. I mean, we're out here, we're prepared. I've got all the tools. But you're right. There's an I-40's like packed with people. It's not right. There's power flashes to our left right now. Power flashes right now, just to our left. I do not see the tornado, but we have power flashes going on right now. Damon, there's a lot of traffic out here. And that's what we were talking about. Don't be out driving around in these storms. It doesn't matter. There's tons of people out here on I-40 driving around in these storms. And we're seeing power flashes go off right in front of us. I just saw one just a second ago. The whole sky lit up green just a second ago.
I believe it. I believe
My goodness, this is
I believe it. So this coming in from Michael Armstrong. He's going to be out there by El Reno. We also have to go down to Nick Smith. Nick Smith, another tornado warning for you. Minko headed to Tuttle. Nick, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, we are in Tuttle, and sirens are going off. About 2 minutes ago, I saw a little bit of a funnel. Actually, I'm still seeing it just it'll be on the north side of, looks like on the north side of 37. Still on the west side in between, looks like,
okay,
in between Tuttle and Minko right now, but I do have a funnel. It's not down to the ground, but I do have a funnel at this point in time, Damon.
Okay, yeah, we see that right now. So, yeah, this coming in from Nick Smith back over to the radar. So important that we keep the radar up at all times. That is how we're able to get the message out with exactly where the tornado is. So that's a tornado warning right here. Also, severe thunderstorm warning for Oklahoma City for 70-mile-an-hour winds. That's a tornado warning right here. And also up towards El Reno. So storm track with that cell right there, Tuttle, Mustang, the airport before 11 o'clock. We go to Westmore, Southmore High School by 10:55, Moore at 10:58, Moore High School at 10:59 with that tornado warning. Should that be extended into Cleveland County? The other storm that's still tornado warning, this one Michael Armstrong is on right now. That circulation is going to be up near Banner, just north of Route 66. Michael had power flashes. Looks like the rotation is still going to be just west of him, but this storm is still rotating as it moves down I-40. So that's where the tornado is going to be. We're just east of El Reno, coming up just northwest of Yukon. We're going to be north of I-40 in Yukon in the community of Banner that's surging to the east. Not only are we looking at 2 tornado warnings right now. Michael, go out to Michael. Michael, go.
Sure. We have a tornado debris signature on radar. There's a confirmed tornado moving over I-81 and I-40. We just crossed it when we had those power flashes. Right now, you will see debris on your radar using the TDS just on the southeast side of El Reno, Damon. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff. I hope people got into their tornado safe spot because this is craziness out here.
I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that this storm is moving to the east, and it is a confirmed tornado. We are picking up debris, so this tornado has hit something. It's hit a house, it's hit a business, but our radar is now picking up on debris getting lofted up into the air with this storm. Really got to hit the message hard, and that's it right there. That is our debris signature. When you see that, that means that there's debris. So that would have been just east of El Reno, just north of I-40, but we have debris being lofted up into the air. Go into your tornado shelter right now in Banner. If you're going to be in Yukon, you're in your tornado shelter right now as that continues to surge to the east. We are working 2 tornado warnings, although at least the southern cell has weakened enough, so that is good. Let's pull on out. We got to give a heads up on what's happening with Tuttle and Minko. That would be the Nick Smith cell, because it does appear that at least that area of circulation has weakened a bit. has weakened a bit. So right now, not nearly seeing that tight couplet. We're still getting strong winds, but we're not seeing that tight couplet like we saw earlier. That would be weak rotation just west of Tuttle. So as of right now, while we'll still watch it closely, the northern cell is going to be the far more dominant storm, the one that we got to continue to watch. Let's go back up to El Reno. So this storm, I expect that tornado warning should be dropped soon. Not here. If you're living in Edmond, I'm gonna go ahead and go downstream from here. If you're living in Edmond, if you're in Piedmont, if you're going to be up near Lake Overholser, this is a storm, this is a tornado, a confirmed tornado that is doing damage. We have already lofted debris up into the atmosphere. Our radar is picking it, and that is where the tornado is going to be. It will be in Richland at 1041. Surrey Hills, that will be there at 1046. Piedmont at 1048, Sundance Airport at 1048 as well. You need to be in your tornado shelter, innermost room of your house. These communities, Richland, Surrey Hills, the neighborhood Surrey Hills, Piedmont, Sundance Airport, Wiley Post, Mercy Hospital, coming up to Lake Hefner at 1055. You see that blue right there? What is that? That is our radar that is depicting debris getting lofted up into the atmosphere. Until that blue is gone, this is still throwing debris up into the atmosphere, which is why it is so important to be in your tornado shelter with this cell right here as that storm moves to the east. As we check on the southern storm right now that Nick Smith is on. Nick, out to you we go. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon. This storm, I know that it doesn't look as good on radar, but I think if the next scan comes around, it's going to look a lot better. It started coming back together. I had a funnel a second ago, but it's just more of a large lowering, almost like a bowl shape at the end. We're getting. I can actually see the rotation at this point. We're here on 37. It's just to my west, probably by about, I'd say 2 or 3 miles. Not even that. But it is still large lowering. If you were in the Tuttle, Mustang, anywhere that as you map this out, Damon, I would be taking tornado precautions because Michael was saying earlier, he had a bad feeling about this coming into the metro. I feel the same way. This thing is getting larger and larger as it gets a little closer. Man, Damon, this thing is – I'm going to stay here just another probably 30 seconds and see if we can't see something on the ground or power flashes. But we're going to have to go again. But this is very, very large, and it is low to the ground, and it is rotating, Damon.
It is, yeah, it is rotating, and this storm continues to move to the east. We're hoping this thing can weaken back over to the radar right now, so that's what we're looking at. If it's not a tornado, it's definitely some very strong winds that are surging out. Let's go back up into Canadian County, get an update. There's field meteorologist Michael Armstrong. So tornado warning, the amount of circulation has come down, which is good, although it still comes up into Yukon, western parts of the Oklahoma City metro. Are we still picking up debris in our radar? Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, so I know we're switching. So that's the debris. This tornado, you can see how it just pops up. That is the tornado that is lofting debris up into the air. So we'll get another radar scan soon. We hope it goes red. If it goes back to red, that means it's no longer debris, but that right there is still very concerning that we see that on our radar, our debris tracker, and that as we make it up to the northeast, if this area of circulation continues, this is when you're going into your tornado shelter a few minutes before that. Yukon, 1044. Surrey Hills neighborhood, 1047. Lake Overholser at 1049. Sundance Airport, 1049. Wiley Post, Bethany, 1051, 1052. War Acres, 1053. And we go all the way down to Quail Springs Mall right before 11 o'clock. Back out to Michael Armstrong. Michael, go.
Absolutely unbelievable to watch that tornado develop right in front of us, Damon. I do not know. I'm hearing scanner traffic about the El Reno, about it getting hit, and they're trying to respond now. I'm sure fire's going out and checking. I have no idea what kind of damage there's being done there. It looks like the circulation is occluding a little bit based on what I'm seeing on radar. What that means is it's weakening for everybody at home. it's meteorology talk, but it just means that that circulation's weakening. However, we could see an additional one develop. I'm not
Mostly Nick Smith right now. Let's go down to Nick Smith. Nick Smith has power flashes. Nick, go.
David, I have a tornado just to my north. It looks like it's going towards the Mustang area right now. I've got power flashes. There's more of them. Keep going, Daryl. Keep going. We've got power flashes happening just to my north of 37 by probably about 4 or 5 miles, probably close to the 152 area. We got to keep going. We're getting inflow picking up in this and catching the RFD. All right. Yeah, Damon, we got more and more power flashes to my north. I am on 150, or I'm on 37 right now. I just came through the city of Tuttle, and we are now trying to make it. Yeah, we have a tornado still there, Damon. I'm telling you, that is on the ground right now.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah, we see the power flashes. We see your shot. There's a tornado right there coming in from Nick Smith. Let's keep Nick's shot up. Let's put the radar up so we can show exactly who's in the path of this. But that is a tornado right there. There it is right there. That's a tornado. So let's go back to radar.
Sarah Road and Southwest 189. It's on terminal radar.
Okay, let's go to radar. There we are right here. Okay, so Sarah Road, that's where the tornado is going to be, and that is going to be on the left-hand side of your television screen. That's the tornado. Sarah Road, this is Mustang, so that's where the tornado is going to be located, at Sarah Road and Southwest 89th Street. There's Mustang, there's a tornado right there on the left-hand side of your television screen, and that is moving due east, putting a storm track. It goes towards OCCC at 1050 Westmore High School, at 1052 Moore, at 1055. Power flashes continue. Let's keep Nick's, we need to keep Nick's audio hot so he can jump in and give us an update. But Warren Theater at 1055, Moore High School 1056, Chesapeake Arena, as this fans out, that's south, that's gonna be in OKC, 1056. We're gonna keep it more and more. Middle of the track here, 1057 Rock Creek Neighborhood and more, Veterans Park at 1057 as well. We're going into Cleveland County, and then Turtle Lake Neighborhood, 1058. That is going to be on 149th Street there in OKC. So that's where the circulation, that's where the tornado is going to be located. Looking for debris. Could be seeing some debris at least getting lofted up within this. Let's go over to velocity. Let's go over to velocity right now, and we'll be able to get a better understanding of what that couple looks like. That's where the tornado is going to be located. If we can go to Nick. Nick, do you still have the tornado on the ground?
We still have the large lowering. I cannot tell. I am still seeing power flashes, Damon. So I would say I cannot confirm that it is on the ground, but I'm still seeing power flashes.
Okay, yes. Well, you definitely get some strong winds out of this. So brand new tornado warning has just been issued. This can be for Canadian, Cleveland, Grady, and McLean County. So brand new tornado warning was just issued. This will include more. This will include northwestern parts of Cleveland County, southwest OKC. It's right where Nick is. Nick continues to have an inflow notch, continues to see that velocity couplet just north of Bridge Creek. That is where the tornado is going to be located. Nick Smith is going to be right in the heart of the circulation. Let's see on the left-hand side of your television screen, that is going to be the tornado right there. So tornado warning just issued. You see it there on the right-hand side. That's the storm moving now into Cleveland County. So this is going to be headed into eventually going into, let's see here, Jonathan, you can zoom on out just a little bit right here. So give those an idea as to where we are. This could be coming into Newcastle. Let's go out to Nick. Nick, go.
Yeah, Damon, I've got a little rotation to my north, and then I've got another one back to my west again. So I'm watching. There's power flashes kind of all back behind me to my west and also to my north. I'm right now. I've got it zoomed in on the one that is just to my probably less than a mile to my west. It is right behind me, and then I can still see the one that is towards the Mustang area. It's still the one that's to my north. Let me pan back over with 360 cam. I can show you. It's still there. It still has power flashes, Damon, and it looks like. I mean, it is close. I would say that thing's got to be on the ground, Damon. I mean, I can't confirm that I see it, but I see all those are power flashes, Damon. All those are power flashes.
Yeah, we see that. Yeah, we see that coming in from Nick. And so, Nick, that thing's on the ground. The power flashes confirm it. So this tornado warning comes up to Newcastle. It comes up to Westmore. Does not go east of I-35. If you hear the siren sounding right now, you are in the tornado warning. That is where the tornado is. And so for those that are going to be up to Southmore High School, we're still west of I-35. That is where the tornado warning is going to be. So this does include OCCC as you go down towards Southmore High School and as you make your way just north of Newcastle. If this storm keeps going due east, it's going to head straight towards Southmore High School. And as you can see right here, there's a circulation. Let's get it. We got to still work both tornado warnings though. Let's get it. We'll keep up with this. Let's go back up. Okay, let's go back up to let's go back up to Michael Armstrong. Michael, go.
Damon, just watched the tornado develop on the east side of Yukon. Listen, there's rotation back behind the rain, not just on the leading edge. I just watched it develop on the terminal Doppler and move through Yukon. It looks like it's weakening a little bit now. Listen, this storm is moving so fast. Listen, we can't even drive fast enough down I-40 to get ahead of it. You have to take your precautions right now, honestly. I mean, not everybody in Oklahoma City is going to experience a tornado, but here's the deal. It's moving so fast. You will not have time. This is going to sweep through the metro, and it'll be like gone in 15, 20 minutes. I mean, that's how fast it's moving. It's unbelievable.
Michael, it is moving very fast, speeds of 40 miles per hour. So there's the cell that Michael is going to be on. We got to bounce back and forth because now that circulation has surged outside of the tornado warning. It's now in southwest OKC. And this tornado warning that goes until 11 o'clock for the Nick Smith, that too is moving due east. So, and that's moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So both of these are moving so fast. Let's go back to Nick because we see his shot there in the left-hand side. Nick, give us an update on what is your tornado still on the ground? Okay, we'll get Nick back on in just a second, but that right there is going to be the lowering. That's going to be the tornado right here. Let's put the radar back up. So let's do a 2-box. We got to keep the radar up so we can show exactly where it is. Let's go south down into. Is this the one that? So, Michael. So what we're looking at is, well, let's work. This one is the one down that Nick Smith has too, because that one right there. That's the storm that's moving into Cleveland County, making its way into Newcastle right now. Here's going to be the river. So the circulation looks like it has come down just a little bit. Still getting a pocket of strong winds. Out to Nick we go. Nick, give us an update on your storm.
Yeah, Damon, I'm guys back to the there's.
Okay, we'll get Nick back on in just a second. It appears his phone may just drop, but the circulation right now not nearly as tight. However, it doesn't mean that it still can't ramp up again. We're definitely getting some strong winds out of this. There's going to be a pocket of very strong winds that's going to blow through Newcastle right now. This could be the Canadian River. So here's the Canadian River. There's Nick, Newcastle Casino. That's surging to the east. More, Southmore, down to Norman Healthplex. Not in this tornado warning, still surging to the east, though. Got to watch it real close. Got to watch this one real close. The other spin-up tornado that we're now watching is where Michael is. And so this area circulation is now outside of the tornado warning, but it is coming up to the Dell campus right along the Oklahoma River here. So... And we have another one up near Lake Hefner?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go out. So that's going to be, let's see here.
The village needs to take shelter now. Look, Damon, these are going to happen so fast. I just want everybody in Oklahoma City, tornado action plan now. Do not drive, shelter in place, get as many walls between you and the tornado as possible. We're going to have all these spin-ups, okay? And they're going to be on radar. They're going to last for like maybe a minute, and then they're gone. Then another one, then a minute, and then they're gone. So everybody just treat this like, I want everyone to treat this like a big tornado warning. Everyone shelter in place. Do not drive. They're going to happen so quick. Between the scans, I see it on radar, like this one over Lake Hefner. Next scan, it's gone. So we just have to kind of treat it like that, Damon.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, we're going to get some big-time winds that are going to come out of this well. We're going to get winds that are going to be pushing close to 70 miles per hour. So on the left-hand side, we have Nick Smith. That tornado warning goes until 11 o'clock. This one's expired. Tornado warning for Canadian County has expired, although get ready for quick spit-up tornadoes that spit up so fast that you can't get the warning out fast enough. Let's go down to Nick Smith. Nick Smith, you're on the lone tornado warning right now. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, I am on I-44. I'm about to drop down on 149th and drop into Moore. I can't confirm that there's anything on the ground. I cannot. But I can tell you this, the amount of power flashes that are happening just back, Michael said it just a minute ago, I kind of heard it, but back behind the rain curtain, the amount of power flashes that are happening is unbelievable. So actually there's more power flashes back towards where it was looking like there was. We're getting hit by some incredible winds right now, and back behind us, it does look like there might be, we're going to have to wait just a second, Damon. As we get off this road, there won't be as much light. It'll be a lot easier to see. But just the winds alone, Damon, the winds alone, if there's not a tornado right now, the winds alone are unbelievable. And we're getting hit with them probably 40 right now, 40 miles an hour. But back behind this, probably about a mile to my west, the winds are blowing 60, 70 miles an hour.
Here in OKC. Okay, so
sirens are going off in Newcastle, and also I'm just coming up on the west side of Moore. I have not heard them yet, but I know that I'm listening for them here.
Nick, sirens are sounding, so let's go ahead and if the sirens are sounding and we can hear them here at the TV station, you're in the spin up, so let's go along the line and show exactly where the spin up is. So here's one. Let's just go up through this as fast as we can. So this is Newcastle, tornado located right here. Moving to the east, so you hear the sirens going off. You're dealing with the tornado. Jonathan, let's go up into Oklahoma County. Let's go up into Oklahoma County because the sirens are now sounding. We're getting power flashes now down by the fairgrounds. And so here's another spin-up tornado right here. This is going to be just west of Nichols Hills. This is going to be over Lake Hefner, moving to the east. Everyone in Oklahoma City with this line moving through, get away from your windows right now. Get away from your windows. Brand new tornado warning was just issued right here. So from the capital to downtown Oklahoma City, that's where the tornado is going to be, just northeast of State Fair Park. Moving to the east here, this is a tornado warning for the capital, downtown Oklahoma City, up towards the zoo. We're gonna continue to watch this moving to the east, but that's where the tornado is going to be located right there. Tornado warning for Penn Square Mall. Once again, go into the innermost room of your house. Tower cam, go to tower cam right now. Go to tower cam. Okay, there it is right there.
There it is.
That's it right here. Moving across, you're going to see power flashes on this right here. So let's keep the power flashes right there. Yeah, we're getting power flashes. Keep the radar up. Let's keep the tower cam up as well. Very important to make sure everyone at home knows exactly where the tornado is, which is why it's so important for us to keep the radar up. So let's go. So short. Okay, so let's go. Let's go full. Or let's not go full. Put the radar right here. Put tower cam right there because I can't read that small print there. There we go. So that's where the tornado is going to be located, just west of the Capitol, about to cross I-235 on the left-hand side. That is going to be our tower cam looking right into this storm. Sirens are sounding as this is surging to the east. Go to your tornado shelter if you're near the Capitol, the zoo, down towards Jones and Choctaw. This is going to be right over Chartel. Right over Chartel. This is going to be just north of downtown Oklahoma City. You can see power flashes. We have power flashes that are happening right over the Capitol as this storm continues to make its way to the east. So this is going to be where the tornado is located. That's a tornado. You can see those power flashes.
Zoom in on that. That's it. There's a tornado right there.
Let's go.
Stop.
Tower cam. There we go. So that's going to be the tornado right there. This is moving across Oklahoma City. Tornado warning continues. We got to keep the radar. We got to keep the radar up, though. Let's keep the radar up so we can show exactly where it is. That's a tornado right there, making its way towards the Capitol as you go just north of downtown Oklahoma City. That's it right there. Go into your tornado shelter right now. Let's zoom in tight, show exactly where the tornado is going to be located as it's moving across Oklahoma City. It is now going to be just south of the Capitol, just northeast of downtown Oklahoma City. There's the Capitol. This is going to be. This is where the tornado is right here. So this is getting ready to make its way May back up I-44. There's a tornado. There's a Capitol. On the left-hand side of your television screen, you can see exactly where that tornado is going to be located. Now just a few blocks south of the Capitol, moving to the east. This is a tornado warning for Oklahoma City. The tornado is going to be just south of the Capitol. Edmond, you're okay. This is going to stay south of you, but if you're going to be in downtown Oklahoma City or up to the northeast, this is a tornado warning that continues. How's our, Jonathan, let's look at the rotation tracker and see exactly where the rotation will be strong. You see a couple areas, but this thing is spinning out solid rotation as it moves to the east. High resolution mapping. We're going to be just north of Northeast 6th Street, and with our latest radar scan, it is now going to be east of the Capitol towards Forest Park and south of Oklahoma City Zoo. That's where the rotation is going to be, now crossing right over I-44. This is a tornado warning that continues for Oklahoma City as the storm is moving to the east. We got to work two storms here, or if not, Jonathan, just tell me how's the circulation down by Cleveland County? Is that still tornado warned, or has that been allowed to expire?
I think it's going to expire. But this is the most important one right now, Damon, the one I'm looking on radar. I think this one coming through just south of the station here from the Capitol to the Zoo, about just east of the Broadway extension, northeast 36. That's where it's going to be. Trying to get our tower, zoom out on the tower cam, Shelby. Okay, it's in the clouds, so we can't use our tower cam yet, but we'll go to Paragon cam. Let's see if we can get that up. Yeah, there you go. Get that turn, but there you go, Damon. That's going to be the area of circulation. That's going to be for this tornado warning here. Now, Michael is on I-35 near Northeast 10th, so it's going to pass right in front of him. So we'll want to get Michael back on the phone here because he'll see power flashes just to his north. Okay, Damon?
Okay,
go,
so
Damon.
Let's go with the Michael. Michael, go.
Guys, there's traffic all up and down I-35 here. Our winds are absolutely incredible right now. We're coming up on 36th Street. Winds are streaming out. I'm going to go back to my 360 camera here. This is I just can't even tell you what this is like, trying to drive in this and get out ahead of it. This thing, we've been driving as fast as we possibly can, and we still can't get ahead of this thing. That's how fast it's moving. You have to go to your tornado safe spot right now, anywhere along. It's right here, guys. There are so many flashes around me. There's lightning. There's power flashes. The one good thing I can say is that there still continues to be quite a bit of power on, at least in where we're at. But you might be able to look at tower cam and look back at the other parts of Oklahoma City where this thing has come across and see if there's any additional issues with that. Oh, we got this person driving really slow here on I-35. These people really don't know what they're getting involved in here at all.
Yeah, let's put up Michael, because let's go back to Michael's shot, because that tornado is going to cross right over in front of him. So there it is right there. So tornado warning continues. That's going to be the tornado right here. This is at the bend where I-35 and I-44 meet here. So as you make your way up to the northeast here. So Michael's going to be right in it. Michael, back out to you we go. If the tornado is still there, it's going to be right in front of you. Do you see anything?
Yeah, no, Damon, there's so much rain, you can't see it. You cannot see it unless you're north of it. See, you guys at the station have actually had the best vantage point looking south down toward downtown Oklahoma City. If you're anywhere around this rain, you cannot see it. There's no reason to go outside and look for this, people. You just have to go to your shelter. That's all you can do. Get into your shelter.
Jonathan just put up a debris tracker, and it looks like we have debris being lofted up right in front of you. That is going to be right along 63rd Street here as you go just northeast of the Lincoln Park Apartments. It's going to be east of Broadway. This is going to be I-35. This is I-44. That blue that you see right here, that is debris. That's not debris behind me, but that would be a debris ball right here, right in front of where Michael is going to be located. So we're picking up. I know there's homes, there's trees. This right here. We're located here, so this is very close to us. But Michael, do you see any debris in front of you?
We have, Damon, I'm sorry. The traffic is too bad. People are driving in the middle of the lanes down I-35 here. It is absolutely, it's so dangerous out here. Okay, this guy finally got off. Okay, I'm going to look now. We're finally, it may be right here with us. It's going to be close. we're right next to it.
Yeah, you are. You are right next to it. So Michael is here. Tornado warning continues, but our rotation tracker continues to be as high as it can get. That pocket continues to be as high as it is.
Yep, it's just passing over our head. It's just passing over our head. It just passed over. It's passing over I-35 right now. We just drove right next to it.
Michael, do you see any debris in front of you or next to you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not seeing anything like that. All I see is rain. All I see is blinding rain. That's all I see.
Okay. So here's what you need to know. It's we are still working a tornado. We got to go back down to. Let's go back down to Cleveland County. We got to still go back in there because there's about to be some strong winds about to come in. Let's go back into Cleveland County. Look at that storm because that storm is still tornado warned as we go into Cleveland County right here. So we're working this tornado warning. Now, the circulation's not nearly as tight. Let's go out to Nick Smith right now. Nick, you're in Moore. Give us an update on what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, I am. The circulation itself is starting to become wrapped in rain, and I think that it's actually gone over.
Still have.
Over I-35, just to the south of Indian Hills Road. Is what it appears, but I'm still getting power flashes back that way. So, I mean, I cannot confirm that it is not on the ground, but it does not. The last time I saw it, which was about a minute and a half ago, it did not appear to be on the ground, but it was close to the ground, David.
Okay, so the good news is that the tornado warning in Cleveland County has just expired. So want to make sure that everyone knows that the tornado warning is no longer in effect for Cleveland and McLean County, but it's still in effect for Oklahoma City here, for Oklahoma County, south of Frontier City, north of the zoo. We're still picking up on debris and rotation. That's going to be right along I-35 into the east and southeast of Frontier City. Let's go out to Michael right now. Michael, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Okay, Damon, we are kind of coming into the circulation still. It's still right here with us. We look like we had some power out. Just keep going, Kyle. Just keep going. We're going to go up the turnpike with this thing. We have horizontal rain. Oh, my gosh. I'm spinning rain curtains right out my passenger window right now. I am not joking one bit. This is crazy. Yeah, I think we're in it. We're in it right now. Kyle, be really careful. We're in the tornado right now.
Yeah,
it's
you
at,
are.
Hefner Road and I-35. We are in it.
Yeah,
We're
we
in
see
it.
it. Yeah, we see it. We see that rain going sideways. Guys, be careful. Be careful, Storm Command. Right in the heart of this tornado. You can see our rotation tracker. That is it. Frontier City. Michael. Hey, Michael, you see the damage? Michael, do you see any damage in front of you?
No, I don't see any damage in front of me right now. Frontier City still has its lights on. There's still some power here.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so the circulation is going to be right over Frontier City and just to the east. You can see with our high-resolution mapping, there's Michael. This is where the circulation is going to be now, just on the east side of I-35. This is where the circulation is going to be located. It is now going to be east of Frontier City, and it's making its way up towards the up the turnpike. So this is spinning up towards the turnpike. This is still a tornado warning. This is still a tornado warning. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning, both of them happening simultaneously here for winds of 70 miles per hour. Storm track up to the northeast for this cell, this area of rotation, 1110 and Luther, 1119 for 1110 and Jones, 1119 and Luther. Out to Michael we go. Michael, give us an update. What are you seeing right now?
I'm just scanning the skies with my 360 cam, having a few problems with my 360 cam. I don't know if it's because of the wind we took in the tornado or what, Damon, but I'm just telling you, this thing, it's moving so fast. I mean, you can't wait for it. You just have to get in your shelter. It's that simple. You just have to get in your shelter.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. So we're going to keep Michael's shot hot and keep his mic open because this is where the circulation is. So if you're in Edmond, if you're in downtown Oklahoma City, if you're at the Capitol, this tornado warning is now east of you. You're okay. We have highlighted the tornado warning right here. It's a small box that goes pretty much from right here to right up to about northeast 122nd Street, up to about northeast 136th Street. right along the Turner Turnpike. That is where the circulation is going to be located, moving to the east. So it's a small tornado warning. It's just a little area, but you can see our rotation tracker is still going to be pinging at least moderate rotation east of Frontier City up to Witcher. So tornado warning, that's where the tornado is still going to be located, where the green and the red come together right here. This is going to be right along northeast 138th Street. That's northeast 122nd Street. That is where the tornado is going to be located. Cleveland County, you're fine. You got some heavy rain coming in right now, Cleveland County, but that storm track moving up to the northeast is going to surge pretty fast to the make its way pretty fast up the turnpike here. So do have some strong winds coming into Cleveland County, but you're okay. So if you're watching in Moore and Norman, you're no longer in a tornado warning. Got some strong winds coming in though, but we still have this tornado warning for Oklahoma County east of Frontier City. As you go up the turnpike, if you're anywhere between 122nd and 108th Street, this quadrant right here, go into the innermost room of your house or your tornado shelter right along air depots. Go back out to Michael. Michael, you're ahead of the circulation. Do you see anything behind you?
That's where I'm looking right now. I've got my 360 camera trained on it. Here's the deal, Damon. It's hard to tell right now the difference. I'm looking for orange and green. There's so much lightning. There's heavy rain. There's power flashes mixed in the trees now. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm okay. I mean, we had a gust of wind. I don't know how strong it was. It came across I-35 right there by Hefner. I mean, it was incredible. Right by Frontier City. It's the most incredible thing I've ever been in, for sure. And we are moving. You can see all the flashes. I mean, it's like a fireworks show out here. It's unbelievable.
We were watching this storm as it was surging in, and yeah, definitely still very concerned about not only the tornado threat, but also the strong wind. There is some incredibly strong wind. Pocket right there, it's pushing about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds from northeast 138th Street right along Britton. Let's go out to Nick Smith. Nick Smith, give us an update with what you're seeing.
I am on 149th, just coming up to Center Road here, just by the Tinker that's here and this little on-go station. And I'm still just to my northeast. I'm getting power flashes, not just a few things, but a lot of power flashes, Damon. So I think that, there's another one right there. I think a lot of people might be thinking, hey, there's not a tornado threat anymore, but we're still dealing with a ton of wind associated with these and power flashes that are happening. It's almost like last night all over again with the power flashes, Damon. It's absolutely incredible. So we're going to follow this a little bit further to the east and just keep watching because I know that there's not a tornado per se on the ground right now that we can tell, but there's still circulation involved with it. Back to you.
Yeah, these are going to be strong straight line winds. And so, Nick, you're coming up on Sooner Road. You got that on-go and that Tinker Federal Credit Union, but you're on a good hill that you can oversee the lights of Tinker. And so those are going to be some strong winds, and those are going to have power flashes with it on the east and northeast side of Tinker, east of Midwest City. Got a pocket of strong winds right here, moving up to the east northeast. So we're gonna work a couple storms here. Also, flash flood emergency now for Logan County. So we have tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood emergencies happening. That tornado warning is still a very small box right here from Frontier City, not even up to Arcadia Lakes. Go back out to Michael. Michael's still in this tornado warning. It's a small area, but we're watching closely. What do you see?
Yeah, we're still seeing the same thing. Like what we're seeing is you're getting these little, basically just these power flashes. They're just, and they're kind of all over the place. It tells me that there's a lot of wind with this, not just associated with just a tornadic circulation, but just a lot of wind embedded around this entire system. I mean, the whole thing, like there's a broader rotation, and then within that, you can get these vortices that spin up, and it's nothing short of incredible.
And so here's an update now, and you hear the alert going off. So we have a lot of things going on right now. First off, severe thunderstorm warning is going to replace the tornado warning upstream for Lincoln, Logan, Oklahoma County, eastern Oklahoma County, up to Payne County. It's going to have winds of 70 miles per hour still and a tornado possible tag. So the tornado warning is coming down. We saw this tornado possible tag attached to it. and we're going to have 70-mile-an-hour winds. So that's where we're looking for circulation. It's still going to be a tornado. Michael's right in it. He'll let us know. Not only that, we're dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood emergencies. Line of storms has just surged into central Oklahoma, although the only severe warnings that we have right now are right here, severe thunderstorm warnings. Now we have the tornado warning is about to expire. We have the flash flood emergencies now for Logan and Kingfisher County, and there is a ton of rain that is coming in now. And I know it's raining hard. Outflow is now surging out. We like to see that. That's going to be down by Belmar to Stanley Draper. That means that the winds will likely come out ahead of the strongest part of the storms. And this right here could be the weakening phase, slow weakening, but this should begin to weaken. You see here a rotation tracker not pinging anything across Cleveland County. That's all weak. Right now, if there's any tornado threat, it's right here. So as we put a storm track up the turnpike, and this thing is moving fast at about 50 miles per hour. Luther at 11:13, Hera 11:14. We go into Wellston at 11:23. So this is going to surge up into eventually the Tulsa area very quickly. This is moving about speeds of 40 to 45 miles per hour. Jonathan, tornado warning is dropping, but we still have to watch not only the surge of winds that we have with this, but that flooding rain is going to be incredible.
Flooding rain, yes, and these spin-ups, I mean, I'm just looking at radar, and they happen so quick. I absolutely hate them because they happen so quick. Now, the good thing about them happening so quick is that they're not long track, okay? Folks, when these go through, they can produce EF2 damage. That's not going to take out your house, okay? Your house is gonna sustain that, okay? So you can shelter in place downstream, Luther, Wellston, okay? So if we have a spin up and we're watching it very closely, you're going to be just fine. But again, we're just got to kind of watch it scan by scan. There's some really strong winds right now on Britton Road, and it looks like, get the cross street to pop up here, just east of Air Depot, this little pocket right here on Britton Road where the bend is over the river there. Got to watch that. There's some strong winds. Another little pocket over towards Jones. Now, I don't see anything that's real tight gate to gate, but that could change. Again, remember, this happens scan by scan, all right? So we're watching that real closely. You have the storm track there, all the locations in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning until 11:45. Time right now, 11:10, moving the northeast very fast at 50 miles an hour. So you have that area. Again, the tornado warning down in Cleveland right there. He's watching that. But now we got to really transition here. What I'm concerned about is potentially the flooding that we're going to have. So we've had a flash flood emergency for the Kingfisher area, now flash flood emergency for Logan County. And now we're going to have to watch some of these heavy rains that maybe will be coming in from the southwest. You know, how do they train? How do they move over the same area? We'll have to watch for that. Now, I do like the fact that on the south edge of this line, you can see there is what we call a fine line. That right there, that's the gust front. Really hard to get QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. These spin-ups, you're going to get the outflow winds, which may be strong, but it's really hard. I would say like Goldsby, Cole, Dibble. I think you're clear of a quick tornado spin-up because the gust front already came through, okay? The gust front, you can't get the spin-ups really behind the gust front, but you can get damaging winds with the gust front. So again, Nick, Storm Command, they're both on the lead edge. We're watching it very closely. Quick scan with radar. I personally think the strongest part of it right now is going to be in the Dungy Park Jones area, just south of Lake Hiawassee. First Alert Storm Command, Michael, you're right there. Michael, I know you're looking with your 360 cam down to the south. Have you had any power flashes in the last minute? I know you got a ton of lightning, but have you seen any power flashes?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any, Jonathan. I'm not saying there won't be some more maybe individual spots where power might go out due to the wind rain combo. I mean, it may knock a tree branch into a line and take out the power somewhere. That's possible. But right now, I just see constant lightning. I mentioned it as a fireworks show earlier. I mean, it's just constant. You know, it's right up there with some of the storms that I've seen as far as continual lightning. I mean, look at that. Just look at my shot. Like, there look like, oh my gosh, that looks like a funnel hanging down there. I mean, there's a lot of lowering still hanging down. Again, we're over in the trees now, though, so it's going to become almost possible to, I see another TVS just west of Hera, another one just east of Chalk laptop may be trying to spin up again, Jonathan. New TVS. I don't know for sure, but I just caught it just west of Harris, straight south of me.
Yeah, so,
There it is. Yeah, it's between
yeah.
Jones. It's just between just 1 mile east of Jones or the River Dam, and right here, I'll circle it.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're. So when Michael says TVS, that stands for Tornado Vortex Signature. Pretty much it's a radar that's beginning to pick up on another tornado that's trying to develop. All tornado warnings have expired across Oklahoma for now. Not to say that they can't ramp back up, but as of right now, all tornado warnings have expired. That's going to drop off in just a second here. So if you're just now tuning in, wondering where is the circulation, if you're in the Village, Nichols Hills, Edmond, downtown Oklahoma City, you're good. You're good. We're going to be right along Britton Road. So here's Northeast 78th. Our rotation tracker is still pinging at least a couple spots of moderate rotation right there, moving to the east. And it's where you see this bend in just north of Jones, right along the Canadian River. So that's where that circulation is going to be. And this is still a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag. What does that mean? It's a three-step process for a tornado warning. So you have a severe thunderstorm warning, then you have a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado trying to develop, and you have a tornado warning. All of us that just had our sirens go off, that was a tornado warning. Now we're back down to a tornado that may have lifted, although could still easily occur. Let's zoom in tight. We're now just northeast of Jones. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael, go.
We have a new spin up. It's not there yet, but I'm telling you, I'm watching the radar signature. It's just to my southwest. Again, this thing is following me. It's tracking me. It's south of Luther, just east of Jones. You guys can see it. I know you can see it on the radar. I'm gonna pinpoint it. This is gonna be along Hefner Road and North-South Road. Well, it's a little east of there now, but it's going to be near Indian Meridian and Hefner Road, getting ready to move over toward Triple X. And it's about 4 miles straight south of the Turner Turnpike.
Okay, yeah, we see that surging up to the northeast there. So that coming in from field meteorologist Michael Armstrong and Storm Command. Track up to the northeast. We're going to Wellston at 11:30, Rossville 11:31, Warwick 11:33, Chandler 11:41. This is not a tornado warning. However, I would be prepared for one to be issued should at least this strengthen just a little bit more. This could be a quick spin-up tornado. We know that this is the same storm that produced damage in El Reno across Canadian County. It moved across Oklahoma County. We know that we have at least, what?
There's spin up right here.
Yep, right here, just southwest of Thunderbird.
Yep.
Okay, so
Nick is right there.
Yeah, so this is going to be in eastern Cleveland County, headed towards Noble. As you look here, where we find where that bend happens, it's right here. So now it looks like over the community of Denver. So this is going to be on the north side of Lake Thunderbird. There's Alameda. Here's Denver. Here's a bend in the highway. We're going to be now on the north side of Lake Thunderbird. We're going to be south of Franklin Road. So there's Franklin, and that's where it's popping up. Our rotation tracker is going to be on the northwest side of Lake, or just on the west side of Lake Thunderbird, very close to Alameda. That's moving to the east. So that could be another quick spin-up tornado that is trying to occur on the west side of the lake, putting a storm track in the Pottawatomie County. That's going to move into Little Axe at 11:22. Pink, Bethel Acres at 11:29 and 11:36. That's where our radar is pinging a developing tornado. This is going to be on the northwest side of Thunderbird, right across the bridge. We're on the north side of the bridge, but this is going to make its way very close and just north of the community of Denver. That's a developing tornado that is going to be very close to Thunderbird, just north of the bridge along Alameda as you make your way towards the community of Denver, making its way eventually back over Thunderbird here. So if you're going to be in eastern parts of Norman, as you make your way, if you live right along the banks or very close to Thunderbird, we're watching this one closely as the sweep goes by, still finding that area of circulation. Track to the east goes into Little Axe at 11:22, Pink 11:29, Bethel Acres 11:36, Dale at 11:38. And that's going to continue to make its way back into eastern parts of Cleveland County. And it's where you see that bend.
I'm ahead, Damon.
Yep. That right there is where we're likely going to see a developing tornado. If it's not already on the ground, it's about to be on the ground, making its way into eastern Cleveland County, eventually coming into Pottawatomie County. So We'll watch that one closely. Let's go back up here, get an update on what we're finding with this storm. Let's go back out to Michael. Michael, still watching just northeast of Jones. What do you see behind you?
Yeah, that's the area I'm looking at too. I'm going to get off here at the Wellston exit and watch this thing to come across. It'll be the first time that we haven't been driving at least 70 miles an hour, and I don't even know how long. I mean, it's been that way all the way from Binger all the way now to Wellston. That's oh my gosh, Damon, this storm. What a way to wrap up this week. Are you kidding me? On this Saturday night? I mean, what a week. And we're still watching. I mean, I'm concerned about this area. I know that you guys are looking at the area down around Thunderbird, and absolutely, totally agree with you on that. I'm still a little bit concerned about something spinning up around Luther or Wellston. I still see some velocities both inbound and outbound just southwest of me, not very far.
Yeah, we definitely see that there as well. So this continues to at least be a serious threat that we are watching right now. Still finding lots of areas of moderate rotation from Luther, east of Jones, as well as east of Norman. So track up to the northeast. We'll watch that one. Also got to watch this area close. We're going to be close to Thunderbird, where at least with the latest radar scan, still finding that inflow coming into this just right over Thunderbird, just west of Little Axe. It's going to be north of the highway here, but that's going to make its way into eastern Cleveland County. You can see how it's surging more down to the east-southeast almost, which would put a track closer to, say, Pink and Tribby if it continues at this motion. As it moves down to the southeast, still could very well see a quick spin up out of this as well. So Thunderbird now, Little Axe, 1122. So here's going to be Highway 9. We're going to be very close to the community of Denver, but that's going to make its way very close to the casino. I know it's Saturday night. The casino is usually always crowded. So Thunderbird Casino here, make sure that if you know anyone there, give them a call and say, look, there could be a quick spin-up tornado that's about to move right overhead. So Little Axe, Burnett, Tribby, and Macomb, watching this for you as this is surging down to the east. We're now watching this make its way onto the east side of the lake. There's Thunderbird. There's a bend in the highway, and here's Little Axe. So Little Axe, a bend. The